But the sorcerer didn't shiver. "TSK, TSK, how could you all think of stopping me?" There was a hint of disdain and arrogance in his voice. Mara, who was in his arms, said nothing. She just watched the scene happening in front of her. She wondered if her kidnap was a part of Camilla's plan, or was it all a coincidence? If this man was one of her men, then why would he badmouth her? There was something Mara observed Camilla's expressions. It's like she arranged someone to badmouth her, or do something to her, but nothing happened. What was all about? She couldn't get it. Or there could be another possibility, that this man was not the same man that Camilla hired for her. In a snap, all the werewolf soldiers felt their knees weakened. They fell to the ground with a painful groan. It's all because of his magic and his spells. Before Mara could say or react, the sorcerer leapt through the crowd and made his way towards the forest with her in his arms. Lucian watched in horror as the sorcerer snatched Mara away. He can't believe his soldiers can't even stall the sorcerer for a minute. His heart pounded in his chest, fueling his determination to rescue her from this dire situation. There were so many unsolved riddles about her, ignoring the chaos and confusion that surrounded him. Lucian's muscles tensed as he prepared to give chase. Lucian sprinted after the sorcerer and his captive, his footsteps like thunderclaps against the forest floor. The dense foliage seemed to blur as he pushed himself to his limits, his mind focused solely on reaching Mara and thwarting the sorcerer's sinister plans. The forest around him whispered with ancient secrets, the trees standing as witnesses to his anxious chase behind Mara and the sorcerer. Shadows danced upon the ground, mirroring the tumultuous battle of light and darkness within Lucian's soul. His every step to rescue Mara was unyielding. As he chased after the sorcerer, a mix of fear and anger coursed through him, fueling his every move. He clenched his fists, his knuckles turning white with the intensity of his emotions. The air crackled with tension, the very atmosphere seeming to vibrate with the raw power of the impending confrontation. Lucian's mind raced, devising strategies and summoning his courage. He knew that facing the sorcerer head-on would be a formidable challenge, but he couldn't allow fear to paralyze him. Mara's safety depended on him. On the other hand, the moonlight filtered through the dense canopy, casting a gentle glow upon the tranquil surface of the lake. The sorcerer, his dark robes billowing around him, stood at the water's edge, his eyes flickering with a mysterious intensity. Mara, her hands bound and her expression was cold without showing any fear. They both were stopped at the forest lake. "Why didn't you fight back?" the sorcerer inquired, his voice like the whispering wind, carrying an air of intrigue. His eyes bore into Mara's. Mara felt a pull towards his eyes, not in any romantic way, but in a mystical way. There was a story dancing between those green orbs. In fact, this very courageous sorcerer who kidnapped her showed signs of need and help. Interesting, she thought. Mara met the sorcerer's gaze with a steely determination. "I could have," she replied, her voice laced with a quiet confidence. "But I believe you have something to tell me, something important. That is why you took me away from the banquet, isn't it?" A flicker of surprise crossed the sorcerer's face before it settled into an enigmatic smile. "You are perceptive, my dear," he said, his tone both admiring and cryptic. "As expected of a chosen lady of the moon goddess," he said with a smirk on his lips. "Aren't you afraid that I would kill you?" he asked as he looked into her eyes. Mara just chuckled at him as if he was kidding her. "Let's not waste time on useless chatter. We are being chased, aren't we?" she said, raising her brows. "A smart lady for sure. Such a shame that all your smartness was eaten by a dog when you were with Alpha Lucian, and almost got killed by his mate," he said. "So much chatter for a little time," Mara commented, without giving him the satisfaction of busting her. "Looks like the Luna doesn't want to waste time," the sorcerer said. "If my guess is right, Lethe pack members will reach here in 5 to 7 minutes. Do you want to leave without any talk? Mara questioned, clearly pointing her boundary of not wanting to entertain any of his bullshit with her anymore. The sorcerer's expression turned grim hearing her words. Then, let's not waste any more time, the sorcerer said. So, ask away, Mara asked. The sorcerer looked at her for a while before he moved his lips. Do you know anything about the seal on your power? He asked. Mara frowns at his question. Not many people know about this seal. The only people who knew about this seal were herself, her mother, her father, and her grandfather, and nobody knows about it apart from these 4 people. This man, who was a sorcerer, ought to be a man under Camilla's wing, was asking about her power seal. Mara felt like she had to kill this man for a second, but decides against it. I wonder what Camilla wants to do with this information, Mara said. She felt that this man didn't seem to be Camilla's person, but she can't rule that possibility either. After all, everyone around her was a snake once upon a time. Now, she escaped from this snake pit. Such vigilance with every person you meet. I understand the world made you this way. The sorcerer commented. Well, I am not Camilla's person. I killed the person whom she hired to attack you and took his place. He explained. Mara looked at his eyes and then at his face. She believed what he said was true. How do you know about it? Mara asked warily. I am one of those people who sealed it, he says. Mara felt like she was stuck with a lightning when she heard it. He was one of those people who sealed her power, which means more than one person sealed her power. Who would it have been? She was such a young child when she went missing. Her parents wouldn't do that for her. After all, she was their precious one. If they could, they would hire a master and teach her how to handle the power she possesses. This was not done by her parents, but by someone else. Was it because of the issues in their pack during that time? Her mother told her she would do it when the time was right. But the time was never right. The sorcerer, who was looking at Mara, who absolving all the information she received right now, felt he needed to finish his piece of words before leaving this place. I am a part of an organization that sealed your power back then. So, I am one of the few people who can unseal your power. He added further, giving the clarity she needs. And organization, a group of people. Mara felt like she was being injected with piece after piece. But the feeling of being in uncertainty didn't sit well with her. She became wary of him now, hearing that he was one of those persons who sealed her power. Which means she was not as strong as him, and he could take her down any time. And he could seal her power again. She was at a disadvantage here. Mara cannot beat him. Seeing Mara's expression and her movements, the sorcerer understands that she was being wary of him. But now I exited the organization and am no longer part of it. Due to my exit from there, the organization is hunting me, he explained to gain her trust. You exited from an organization that makes you work, pay a lot, and gives you a lot of enemies. Mara asked with a raised brow. From the words he said and the information she got from him, there was no way that he would exit from that organization. That organization could be a dangerous one, but as long as he stays under that organization, he would be safe. If he was out, he has to save his skin every second, just like now. The sorcerer chuckles at her question. If it was someone else, they would have asked him why he exited the organization, instead of asking him, he exited on his own part. This woman was really something. Well, I did not exit. I was removed from it. And now being hunted down, he said. Mara nods at him. And what has that got to do with me? She asked. Mara can make a bold thought from his approach, and given the dots she could connect. She feels that since he has to save his neck, he needs power to protect him. In his words, the organization was a dangerous place. So he needs some power to protect his neck. That power cannot be present anywhere but her. If her power was sealed when she was as young as she thought, then it could be said that she was the strongest person in this world who holds the power. She doesn't know how much power she holds, if it's unleashed, but he knew it as a sealer. So she dared to make this assumption boldly. You hold the power that can protect me. And I know nothing comes for free. In return for my safety, I will unseal your power. When your seal is broken, you will become a powerful force against that organization. He revealed to her. Mara was stunned at his words. Her assumption was right. Tonight, things were going a little hard for her. Not in a bad way, but in a way that she least expected. What was this? Where was her life going if things were this way? How could she provide a proper and safe future for her child? Mara was tempted to give in and take the offer. She was missing Ruby too much with the passing days. After the wolf was her soul. Without a soul, she was feeling like an empty soul. But what if it's another trap? Was this a coincidence that this sorcerer appeared at that very moment? Her wolf was getting stronger than her previous self, and the seal was weakening for some reason. Was this all a coincidence? She dared not to trust him. Her eyes looked at him warily. Mara's beautiful almond eyes narrowed into beautiful scary slits as she looked at him with vigilance. She doesn't dare to fall into a trap. Now, before she could decide if it was a trap or not, she decided to check it once. What made you think I will trust you? She asked with a lopsided grin. The sorcerer's face fell. Indeed, with her experiences, who would dare to trust others so easily? Mara made a mistake something like this in the past. Back then, she made a deal with Lucian in exchange for the safety of her pack and her mother's medical bills. Even though she never gained anything in all these, she did gain something, but for the good of others. Even now she was making this another bargain. She wouldn't say whether it would be beneficial or not. She needed a guarantee that she wouldn't be the one who receives the short end of the stick. Her eyes were shining in deep sapphire blue as she peered into his eyes. Even Ruby felt that things were not looking good. She felt her host needed her support. Ruby supplied some of her power to Mara as they both together exuded the aura of death, revealing their bloodthirst to him. The sorcerer snapped his fingers in the air and opened his palm as he recited some spells in the air. A coat appears in his arms. He hands that coat to Mara. Mara opened it and saw that this coat seemed pretty different and unique. The coat has some intricate drawings and writings, and it was sewn with different kinds of patterns. Yet, it is a beautiful coat. Her eyes loved it, but a part of her was wondering what kind of miracles this coat held. Wear it over your body. It will weaken your seal. You can access more power using it, he said. Hearing his words, Mara felt vigilant for a few minutes. But after a few seconds, she gave in and wore it. The moment she wore it, she felt like her body was flying in the air. The cold breeze of the winds kissed her skin, which made her feel like she was as light as a feather. While this was happening, she could feel there was something in her stomach which has been lightened significantly. She could feel the power amplifying in Ruby. Ruby didn't sleep anymore, but was awake. Ruby passed more power into her. Mara could feel her seal weakening a lot. Mara realized this man didn't lie. He was in need of her power and protection. Someone is coming. I need to leave now. Let me know your decision soon, he said. Will we meet again? She asked. We will. Make your mind, he said. Then, let the moon goddess bless you and keep you alive till our next meet, she said. All the best with your life, he said with the same cheekiness as hers before disappearing into the woods, casting a silvery glow over the landscape. As Mara stood alone, her thoughts in disarray, following the departure of the mysterious sorcerer. The coat he handed to her was still in her hands. She was still wearing it, and her wolf was becoming stronger than before. Unbeknownst to her, Lucian, with a mix of concern and urgency, hurriedly caught up with her. Even though she knew someone was coming, she didn't focus on the footsteps that were approaching her. She was lost in her thoughts. Mara doesn't know how to behave now. She felt she had been dumped with too much information and needed to think about it. And also, she felt like she wasn't fed with enough information. As she felt the scent of Lucian was getting stronger, she snapped from her daze. She looked like she had to get ready to face him and answer him. But for some reason, she had a feeling that she had to take the sorcerer's help, given how dangerous Camila could get and the hidden dangers she might face. As Lucian approached, the lines of worry etched across his face softened at the sight of Mara. His steps slowed, and he reached out to gently touch her shoulder. "Scylla, are you hurt?" he inquired, his voice filled with genuine concern. His eyes scanned her figure, searching for any signs of injury or distress. Mara, still processing the aftermath of her encounter with the sorcerer, shook her head in response to Lucian's inquiry. Physically unharmed, she felt a whirlwind of emotions within, a storm of thoughts and memories stirred by the appearance of the sorcerer. But wait, concerned. This man was concerned about her. This was something new to her. Mara couldn't believe her eyes. This man was surprising her with his actions. Mara doesn't know if she should believe him or not. Mara felt like she was daydreaming about his reactions. This man was too cold to show an expression on his face. He didn't even show an expression when she cried hugging her dead son for a week. He went to work as usual and did his stuff like it was not his son who passed away but someone else. Yet, now he was showing her concern. Whoa. Was this what you call hallucination? But here, Lucian was genuinely concerned about Mara. When he cross-checked she was not hurt or harmed, he was satisfied that Mara was physically unharmed. But still, Lucian's concern deepened. He asked, "What happened? Who was that sorcerer? And did you see their true face?" His eyes, filled with a blend of anger and protectiveness, locked onto hers, seeking answers about the night. The words the sorcerer had shared lingered in Mara's mind, like a haunting melody. Lucian's hand remained gently clasped around hers, offering her comfort from the scare she received tonight. Mara, however, knows she shouldn't share this stuff with him, and she would never. These were her things, but this new side of Lucian was making her feel uncomfortable. Even though his eyes were back to his cold expression, still, she could see his concern for her. With a subtle shift in her expression, Mara diverted her gaze, her eyes momentarily avoiding Lucian's probing look. I am fine," she assured him, choosing her words carefully. "The sorcerer sensed you approaching and fled." "I didn't get hurt. He just dropped me here when he sensed some were approaching us." "Sensed me?" Lucian questioned, a furrow forming on his brow. "Who was that person, and what did they want with you?" Mara hesitated, a conflict playing out in her eyes. She decided to reveal only what was necessary to allay Lucian's worries without delving into the intricate details of her past. "I don't know who they were. Maybe they want to sabotage the relationship between the two packs. But I feel he has an insider, her help to get inside," she explained, carefully. Lucian's expression shifted. This was one of his guesses, but Scylla mentioning the insider's help made him angry bit. He couldn't accept that there was someone who did things under his nose. Lucian made a mental to dig that person out and punish him in his way. "All right. Since you are safe, we need to leave. We can talk more on the way," Lucian said. He could say she was hiding something, but looking at her eyes. Now he wondered if he was really being too much to think that she was hiding something. Mara managed a small, appreciative smile, feeling the warmth of Lucian's support. As they stood together in the moonlit night, shadows of the unknown still lingered. "We need to leave," Mara nodded with a smile. With that, they both started walking from there. The moon hung in the velvet sky, casting its silvery glow over the quiet landscape. Mara, shrouded in her thoughts and the weight of the sorcerer's revelations, walked as she stepped on dried leaves and branches. The rustling and the breaking of leaves and small branches echoed in the silent forest. Lucian, sensing the heaviness in the air, stepped alongside her. His expression was unreadable. "Mara, what's that thing in your hands? Where did you get it?" Lucian began questioning again. He reached out, attempting to gently turn her towards him. But Mara didn't stop and walked ahead. She knew if he started asking questions it meant he was not satisfied with the answers she gave earlier, and he wanted more. She was not ready to answer more than these, at least not about the thing in her hands. "It belongs to me, something that represents a glitter pack. He tried to snatch, but I held on it," she explained in a crisp voice. Lucian nodded his head to her. "Then he let it go?" Lucian asked. "I without this mean nothing. He could use this to threaten my family about it. It's something like an heirloom yet not." "But a gift from my elders," Mara said. "I see," he said. He could detect that she was not willing to talk much about the thing. Maybe she was offended and angry due to Sorcerer's actions. Lucian decided to not ask more questions about it. Even his wife, Mara, has a locket that was passed on to her by her parents. Even though it was not passed down to generation, she wore that necklace every day after her mother passed away. What Lucian didn't know was that the very necklace was the necklace that has the photos of Laura and Leonard. "Do you want any help in walking?" "Are you hurt?" Lucian asked. "No, I am fine," Mara answered. Despite her answer, Lucian went ahead and kept asking questions about her. Nevertheless, his expression was void, yet he kept asking questions regarding her safety. Mara wondered, what's wrong with this man? Why this man was showing care and concern, and her heart was doing flips and flutters at his words. She wanted to tell him what was happening and tell everything to him. But she resisted. Mara, however, resisted as a wall had erected within her, a self-imposed barrier born out of the scars left by the past. Silas's fate lingered in her heart, a reminder of price that came at the cost of love. She stopped in her tracks, her gaze fixed on the distant horizon, avoiding the depth of Lucian's eyes. "Lucian, I appreciate your concern, but I am fine," she replied, her voice laced with a subtle restraint. Mara felt her heart break into pieces as she ignored Lucian's words. She wanted to answer his every question, but she held it back. One thing that confused her more than that was Lucian's concern. She wondered what made him feel concerned about her. Was he concerned about her because of her status as the heiress of the glitter pack? Or was he concerned because he still sees her as Mara? From his actions, she could say he was yet to discover she was Mara. The more she thought, the more she was convinced that he was not concerned about her. Mara let out a sad sigh. She knew she loved this man still, yet her past experiences with him made her unable to move on and express her love to him. As they walked under the canopy of dark sky adorned with pearls like stars, the silence between them brewed different emotions between these two people. Mara and Lucian returned to the banquet in silence, enveloped in their own thoughts. "Sister!" Susan ran towards Mara the moment she saw her sister. "Are you okay? Did you get hurt? Did he do anything to you?" Susan barraged her with a series of questions. Camilla was watching everything from the side. She hoped Mara would die out there. Camilla and her wolf, Maya, secretly rejoiced that she would die. But here she was in full peace, without a scratch, returned safely. Camilla was so angry and wanted to rush towards Mara to strangle her to death. But she has to grit it out and act like a proper host. She walked towards Mara with a concerned expression resting on her face. "Lady Ylva, I am glad you returned safe and sound." "I was so worried about you," Camilla said in an aggrieved voice. "You should be." Susan's angry voice resounded in the banquet. Camilla was taken aback by Susan's angry voice. Even Mara was stunned. Lucian, who was watching the sisters and his wife, who joined them out of concern, was surprised to hear Susan's voice. "What do you mean, Lady Susan?" Camilla asked with shock evident in her voice. "Your alpha talked us into attending this banquet despite our rejection to attend. And you got that suspicious sorcerer inside this banquet who harmed my sister. Are you saying this happened out of coincidence but not planned?" Susan asked with her angry eyes. Her eyes were glowing in a bright yellow color, showing her wolf was about to come out. Susan was beyond angry. She blamed herself when she saw her sister being kidnapped. She wanted to chase after them and rescue her sister. But she can't, because she isn't as powerful as Lucian. Susan remembered how her sister said she was tired and wanted to rest. She didn't want to attend the banquet yet. She forced her to attend this banquet. Even though she didn't feel any threat from Camilla, she felt something was weird with this woman which she couldn't pinpoint. But when she said about the interesting game, she was excited and again rushed in. If only they left after greeting the people. This wouldn't have happened. It's all because of this woman who brought the sorcerer into this place. If she didn't bring him in, nothing would have happened. Miss Susan, I have no part in this. I am just as innocent as everyone. Camilla immediately tried to defend herself. Yes, Susie. Don't give a hard time to the to-be Luna of this pack. She didn't expect this too. Mara tried to defend Camilla, as expected of the Luna Laura's and Alpha Leonard's child. She was so compassionate. If I were in Lady Scylla's place, I would have doubted Lady Camilla, just like Lady Susan. Yet, she was so kind and forgiving. She even defended her, even though she was on the enemy's land. She is trusting us. She is so precious. Murmurs went aloud, praising Mara and not commending Susan's outburst. Seeing people praise Mara made Camilla angry. No one defended her. She would be their Luna. They should defend her, not this stranger. She looked at Mara with malice in her eyes. This woman, why was she finding her more hateful with every passing day? Camilla looked at Mara with malice in her eyes. This woman, why was she finding her more hateful with every passing day? Sis, you are just too kind. If we hadn't attended this banquet, you wouldn't have been in danger in the first place. It's my fault I dragged you here to see and know how the Lethe pack culture is. Susan broke down like a baby in Mara's arms. It's okay. I am fine. That sorcerer is the villain. He must be sent here to break the peace treaty between the two packs. Don't be quick to judge. Mara tried to console her sister. Mara couldn't see her sister blaming herself and crying. The onlookers agreed with Mara's words and uttered words of encouragement to Susan. But sister, don't trust everyone just like that. This woman was the one who opened the doors to that man, who tried to harm you. Among the so many guests here, only she urged us so much about this great sorcerer and said she would give us an unforgettable experience tonight. Surely, she made it unforgettable. Susan ran her mouth without thinking. I think Lady Susan is judging quickly. An elder of Lethe Pack's council said in his elderly voice. Are you denying the fact that your Luna personally invited that sorcerer after searching for him across the world after hearing about his fame? She herself admitted it. Susan slapped the elder's face with her words. All the while, Lucian has an unreadable expression on his face. He didn't know that this sorcerer was invited by his mate personally. His gaze shifted towards Camilla, and he gazed at her as if he wanted to figure out something. I didn't do anything. I only heard about his fame and wanted to entertain the guests. That's why I invited him over. Camilla said with tears escaping her eyes. Camilla felt humiliated hearing them accuse her like that. True that she hired someone to badmouth Mara and chase her out. But she didn't think things would go like this. She never thought she would be blamed. Camila cursed that sorcerer for putting her in trouble. She noticed everyone was looking at her with accusations in their eyes. They didn't point their fingers or say words, but their eyes were doing everything. You invited him without checking his background. Which pack Luna would do this brainless thing? How did you handle the pack in the past 5 years with this careless attitude? At this rate, Lethe pack will be found in smithereens due to your stupidity. Susan yelled without holding back. Even the pack elders who wanted to defend her fell silent. After all, it's Camila's fault. She bought an enemy without checking carefully. They all thought that even though Mara was not powerful enough, she handled things like this with care. No such accident like this ever happened. Lucian also thought of Mara at Susan's words. Or was it not you who handled the pack of Luna all these years? Are you reaping on someone else's hard work? Susan added again. Lucian whipped his head and looked at Susan in shock. Not only him, even the pack elders. If Susan could doubt it, would it be same for other packs too? They thought they hid this fact quite well, but they didn't. Susie. Enough. It's the pack alpha who saved me. Remember. Mara chided her sister. It's his mate who invited that danger. That is the least he could do, Susan said in the same tone. I apologize for what the guests have to go through. I and my pack council will conduct a deep search and the perpetrators behind this. We will give you satisfactory results soon, Lucian said, bowing his head a little. You. Susan was about to say something but was cut off by Mara. Mara never saw Lucian bow to anyone, not even his father now. He did. She felt bad seeing him do that. She can't let Susan go on. Mara was tired too and wanted to rest. Her pregnancy was not easy now. She was feeling sleepy and drowsy too much. And she has no desire to take part in this banquet. She doesn't want her sister to get backlash while she stays here during her training. It's time to put an end to this argument. And from the argument that happened, Lucian and the pack elders will keep an eye on Camila. They may not kick her out as she was carrying the pack heir, but they would be vigilant. That's enough for today. Enough, Susie. Let's return back. I am tired. We are here to make peace but not fight, Mara said. Seeing her sister's stern gaze, Susan just nodded. Forgive my sister's bluntness. She is just scared of losing me. After all, who doesn't know I am not with my family for years? Everything about my safety is their bottom line. My sister is too young. Please don't mind her, Mara said to everyone and bowed a little. What Mara said was reasonable to everyone. Even they would act this way towards their family member, who was found this recently. Everyone watched as Mara and Susan left. Camila was so humiliated and felt anger. First, her mate came with another woman to the banquet without her. Then, the presence of Mara annoyed her more. Later, that wretched sorcerer made her lose his face. Now, that ugly Susan tried to pin everything on her. How dare she? She left the place feeling humiliated with tears in her eyes. Camila thought Lucian would follow her, but he didn't. She felt more anger towards Mara now. She has to find a way quickly to get rid of that Mara. The room, bathed in the soft glow of a solitary lamp, carried a silent history within its walls. It was the same room where Mara had once spent her months of pregnancy with Silas. The furnishings stood frozen in time as if preserving the echoes of the past. A time that was both joyous and marked by heartache. Everything about this room reminded her of her son and his naughtiness. It was not just a room but a place of memories. If only her son was here, she would have gone against this world if needed. But he was no longer there. Her heart ached with the pain. She squeezed her eyes shut before opening them as she stepped inside the room. As Mara stepped into the room, a wave of nostalgia washed over her, the air heavy with the bittersweet fragrance of memories. The bed, still adorned with the same faded quilt, held the imprint of moments that had slipped through the sands of time. The room, though unchanged, now harbored the weight of the sorrows that had transpired within its confines. Silas's absence echoed in the stillness, and Mara found solace in the tangible remnants of a time when the room had echoed with the laughter of a child. Yet unborn, on the bed, she saw herself breastfeeding her pup as she enjoyed his giggle and soft gurgles. A small smile formed on her lips as she went through that memory. When Silas was 1 year old, wah, wah. The wails of Silas reverberated in the bedroom. Mara, who was in the bathroom relieving herself, let out a tired sigh. Silas was crying as he was hungry. She wanted to take a break from her kid for 1 day, or at least 2 or 3 hours. That's enough for her. But she was not getting that break. She wondered how other women were coping. She has maids to do the household chores. But all the duty of her child falls on her. She wished her husband would help her at least when they were sleeping. But Lucian either doesn't come or sleeps in the guest room, due to his sleep disturbance. Mara, ever so dainty and obedient, never thought of asking her husband's help or holding him responsible for not shouldering his part as a father. After all, it's the mother's responsibility to raise a child. After quickly finishing her business, Mara came out hurriedly and took her son in her arms from the cradle. She removed her top and took off her bra and let him suck on her nipple to fill his stomach. All the tiredness flew away, just like that, after she saw her son's contented smile. Ouch! She winced in pain when her son bit on her nipple. So, now the devil got teeth to bite me, huh? Mara uttered to her son as she pinched his nose. As if Silas understood her, he burst into a fit of giggles, hearing her words. Look at your audacity. Just because you are cute, do you think I won't punish you? Mara said with a smile. Silas started flailing his hands and started clapping his hands in the air. As he giggled, "What made you happy, little devil?" Mara questioned her son, who was very happy all of a sudden. But Silas just continued flailing his hands and giggled. Silas was just happy to hear his mother's voice and smell her. He missed her badly when he could not get to see her in the past half an hour. Looks like the little devil is happy, Mara commented to her breastfeeding son. Who is the little devil? She heard Lucian's voice ring in the room. Startled, she quickly pulled a quilt to cover herself. Something like disappointment flashed in Lucian's eyes, which Mara caught before he changed his expression to his cold expression. You are here? She asked with surprise, adjusting the quilt over her. Are you scared of me? I have that much decency to not do anything to you when you are breastfeeding my son, he said. My son? Mara felt that he was conveniently forgetting it was her son too. No. It's not like that, she said, stuttering. She doesn't dare to offend him. That was how she lived in his mansion, trying not to offend him all these years. Seeing her stutter and scared expression, annoyance flashed in Lucian's eyes. Forget it. After feeding him, I will play with him for a while. Rest for some time tonight. Let's have sex. It's been a while since we did it, he said. Mara wanted to say no and let him know that she was tired, but she didn't. If she did, she would be offending him. After a while, she nodded her head, lowering her head. Silas will be given to the nanny, he said. Mara never wanted to hand her child to a nanny. But she has to now. There were many times she wanted to disagree. But she couldn't. That night, she served him in the bed and was dead tired by the next day while her son was with the nanny. Mara wasn't even able to enjoy that sex due to her worry about her son. Lucian got angry at her behavior and went on more rounds trying to get a reaction. But when he realized he wouldn't get it, he cursed her and left the bedroom to sleep in the guest room. Tears welled in her eyes, but she didn't cry loudly for fear he would listen. Her pillow and the darkness shrouded around her were the witness to her tears and the sadness she went through. End of flashback. 剪剪剪剪剪剪剪剪剪剪 As she thought about the past, a bitter smile crept on her lips as she remembered her days and time with him. How badly did she let him treat her? The time with Laura and Leonard taught her children were never the responsibility of the mother alone. But also, fathers leaving a sperm in the womb of a mother doesn't make a man father but responsible to him. If only she had a spine back, then things would not have come this far. She walked as she touched and felt the things around her. In the quiet room, Mara found herself drawn to a particular drawer. With a gentle pull, it revealed a collection of Silas's tiny garments, a worn teddy bear, and nestled within, a small, weathered chest containing a crest. As Mara carefully cradled the crest in her hands, as she did that, she felt a subtle electric current coursing through her fingertips. The emblem, intricately crafted and engraved with symbols of lineage and heritage, seemed to pulse with a life of its own. Her thumb traced the engraved lines. What was it? She wondered. The room, steeped in the soft glow of a lamp, held a profound air of contemplation as Mara delicately cradled the crest in her hands. The crest looked mysterious from the looks of it. When she touched it, she felt an unknown connection with the crest. But she has no memory of the crest in her hands, yet her gut feeling says that she has a connection with it. Many of her gut feelings came true. So she doesn't want to ignore it. Since she has no memory collection regarding this crest, she decided to ask her wolf, "Ruby, do you recognize this crest?" she asked through her mind link, her voice carrying a hint of curiosity. "It feels somewhat familiar, but I can't quite place where I've seen it before," she admitted. Ruby felt like she really saw that totem, but couldn't recall it. Mara nodded thoughtfully. Her mind raced to understand what this crest was about. But since she has no lead on what this crest is, she decided to think of it later. "Forget it. I will just wear it," Mara muttered to herself. Mara took that crest and attached it to her thin necklace as she hung it around her neck. She walked back to the bed, where she and her son slept for the time he lived for 2 years. "Why do I feel like I can still smell his scent? Ruby," Mara uttered to her wolf. Even Ruby nodded. "Maybe because these sheets have not changed from that time," Ruby said to her host. Mara saw that it was indeed the case. "Years passed, but I still can't get over my son's death," Mara said as a lone tear slipped out of her eye. "We have to take care of our baby now. If we can protect him and her from Lucian and this Lethe pack, the baby will live," Ruby said with a sad sigh. "Yes, this pack is dangerous," Mara agreed. Mara fell into silence. Her mind wandered into different places. She thought about everything that happened that day. The sorcerer, the kidnap, Lucian's chase, and his concern for many things left her questioning. Maybe her wolf could give her some insights to her. There was no way she could discuss this with her friend Sophia or her mother. Sophia would come here if Mara asked, but that would prove to Lucian that Mara was not Scylla, but Mara. She can't definitely talk to anyone. Mara was still confused about how to think of this sorcerer. She wondered if she could trust him or not. There were too many coincidences in his appearance. Her seal was weakening. She came to Lethe Pack. She was pregnant, and her seal was weakening. Was this really a coincidence? Or was it a blessing of the moon goddess's blessing for all the years of her suffering? She was confused. "Do you think the sorcerer's words could be true?" Mara pondered aloud. Ruby hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "It is hard to say, Mara. I am not uncomfortable in his presence. You shouldn't think bad about every single thing that happens around us. Maybe he is a good man and needs help. If you doubt him so much, put on a test the next you meet him, or already plan a plan B in case of accidents. That would do the trick. If you are proven wrong, then you will be getting a powerful ally. A sorcerer can be your strong ally in taking down a witch like Camilla," Ruby said thoughtfully. Mara felt Ruby's words made sense. Ruby was right. How could one can build trust without even trying to trust him? The sorcerer's promise that unsealing her powers could be a means of protection. Yet the doubts in her head made her question. "You are right," Mara sighed, her gaze returning to the crest in her hands. "If there is a chance that this can unseal my powers, I should consider it." Ruby nodded. "We've been strong, Mara, but we should navigate it together for the sake of our family and our unborn child's protection." "Yes, I will agree with the sorcerer's request," Mara said. A few days later, sunlight streamed through the tall windows of the villa, casting a warm glow over the elegant furnishings. Mara, engrossed in a quiet moment of reflection, was interrupted when her phone buzzed. Retrieving it from her pocket, she saw it was a message from Susan. Susan was currently enrolled in an art high school exchange program at Lethe Pack. "Susan, sis, I made a blunder. Please bring my painting materials. Please. They are at the villa. Bring them to my school. I will treat you to your favorite pizza for your help." Even though Mara was reading the text, she could hear her sister yelling. "Ouch, my ears," Mara muttered under her breath with a helpless smile. With every passing day with Susan, Mara realized that life could be a lot easier and happier when you are with the people who love you. Without hesitation, Mara gathered the necessary supplies, a set of vibrant paints, an assortment of brushes, and a canvas, ensuring that Susan wouldn't miss out on her creative endeavors. The art materials bundled together in a canvas bag were a vibrant palette against the serene backdrop of the villa. Mara made her way to the school, a short journey through the picturesque surroundings of Lethe Pack. The air was filled with the scent of blooming flowers, and the distant sounds of nature created a harmonious backdrop to the tranquility of the pack. Arriving at the school, Mara navigated the corridors to find Susan's art class. The walls were adorned with colorful artwork, showcasing the diverse talents of the students attending Lethe Pack's high school. The vibrant energy of creativity permeated the air, adding a lively ambiance to the environment. Spotting Susan engrossed in her work, Mara approached with a teasing smile. "Forgot something, did you?" she quipped, holding up the bag of art supplies. Susan looked up, her eyes widening in a mix of surprise and gratitude. "Oh, Mara, you are a lifesaver," she exclaimed, reaching out to take the bag. Mara chuckled, her affection for her younger sister evident in her gaze. "Don't make a habit of it. I am not your personal art supply courier," she teased, her tone playful. Susan grinned, her eyes sparkling with a mischievous glint. "No promises," she replied with a wink, before turning her attention back to her canvas. As Mara watched Susan immerse herself in the world of colors and creativity, she couldn't help but feel a sense of fulfillment. After seeing off Susan, Mara walked into the art gallery. As she walked through the corridors of the school, memories of the time she came here when she was still the Luna of this pack came into her head. "I wonder if that painting was still here," Ruby uttered in her head. "I wonder. Let's check," Mara said, and walked in search of that particular painting. Just when she was admiring the painting, someone came and pulled her, forcing her to wince in pain as they dragged her away. In Susan's art school, Mara and Ruby had a quiet talk. The sunlight through the big windows made a cozy space for them. Ruby, who has been feeling better lately, started sharing something from the past. "You know, Mara," Ruby started, a contemplative expression on her face. "I still remember that event you attended in this school." Mara's eyes dilated. She remembered that day. She came with Lucian but didn't stay by his side. He left after a while, but she stayed back. Nobody knew she was Luna. The memories of that event, a rare moment of normalcy in her extraordinary life, began to resurface. Mara listened, interested. Memories of that event, where things felt normal in her not-so-normal life, started coming back. Mara remembered the kids she met during that time. They were bubbly, welcoming, and cheery. A small smile formed on her lips. "It was cool how kids at this school treated you," Ruby continued, "kind of like a magical feeling." "It was amazing how the kids in that school treated us," Ruby continued, her voice filled with happiness. They welcomed you with warmth and respect. A wistful smile touched Mara's lips as she recalled that event. The kindness of those kids had indeed been a balm for her soul. The memory of their genuine acceptance brought a sense of comfort, a reminder that the world beyond the supernatural realm could offer solace. Ruby's energy, once clouded by the aftermath of past events, has been steadily improving. Her recent clarity and vivid recollections added a layer of assurance to Mara's thoughts. The sorcerer's words about the restoration of powers and the regaining of control seemed to align with Ruby's evolving condition. After all, Ruby was in contact with her for more time than usual. Her companionship was back, making her feel happy. Mara contemplated the implications of Ruby's improved memory and vitality. If Ruby was indeed regaining her powers, it could mean that the sorcerer's claims were true, that Mara, too, had the potential to break free from the constraints that had bound her abilities for so long. Mara thought about what it meant for Ruby to get better. If Ruby was getting back her powers, maybe she could finally use her special abilities more. This cheery Ruby was the one she missed. She has started to trust the sorcerer now. Maybe it might not be bad to help him. Who knows, she might avenge her son's death with his help. Ruby was feeling particularly happy. She was not weak anymore. She was regaining her energy and going back to her life. Now, seeing this art school, she felt like she was being tickled with her positive memories from the past. This place was one of the places that brought her peace. She nudged Mara's consciousness and asked, "Do you remember the artwork you liked the last time we were here?" The question hung in the air, and together they decided to embark on a quest to find it. As they strolled through the school's halls, adorned with colorful creations, Ruby guided Mara towards a display wall where student artworks were showcased. The anticipation of rediscovering that particular piece of art filled the air with excitement. And there it was. The painting that had captured Mara's admiration on their previous visit. Positioned proudly in the center of the display, it stood as a testament to the artistic talent within the school. The painting always mesmerized Mara, even though she had seen it many times. Unaware of the artist's identity, Mara examined the painting with curiosity and admiration. For some reason, every time she saw this painting, she felt like it was talking to her. In the painting, there is a figure, someone reminiscent of her, tending to a garden of blooming flowers. As the woman watered the flowers, there was a smile, but somehow the figure exuded the vibe of loneliness. That painting reminded her of the days that she spent in the glass flower room when she was at Lethe Pack. Those plants were her companions. Watering them was her escape from all the bitter times of the day. The play of colors and the meticulous brushstrokes portrayed a moment frozen in time, capturing the essence of nature and care. It's as if the painter didn't treat this as a painting, but as his life. That was such a beautiful masterpiece. The image, unbeknownst to Mara, was a creation by Lucian. He had skillfully painted it based on a moment when Mara was watering the flowers in the glass flower room. However, the connection between the artwork, the artist, and Mara's own identity remained hidden to Mara. Ruby observed Mara's fascination with the painting, her ethereal presence resonating with a subtle satisfaction. "It is beautiful, isn't it?" "It is." Mara nodded in agreement, drawn to the emotions and memories the painting evoked. Little did she know that the captivating image, a reflection of her essence, had been crafted by the hands of someone she held dear. "Wish I could buy this painting," Mara muttered under her breath. "Well, the paintings in the art school are meant for exhibition, not for sale," Ruby reminded. "Indeed," Mara replied to her. "This painting makes me remember my life in this pack. It's so sad, yet I am here admiring this sad, yet lonely woman painting," Mara said to her. "Maybe because you want to believe that this painting shows that you are not alone who lived that life," Ruby said. "Maybe," Mara agreed. As she stood in front of the painting and conversed with her wolf, Mara caught the sound of a commotion behind her. She could hear the excited chatter and enthusiasm in the air. A small smile tugged on her lips. Along with her smile, curiosity piqued in her at the enthusiastic chatter among the kids. It was so noisy, all of a sudden. She wondered what made these kids happy, all of a sudden. I wonder what this is all about. Mara commented about the commotion with her wolf. Do you want to know? Ruby asked. I do, Mara replied. I suggest don't let your curiosity take over you. Ruby replied to her. Why? You were saying as if they were excited about a star's arrival. Mara said. One thing that Mara never liked was the commotion created by the movie stars and celebrities. They always make a ruckus wherever they come, when she has Silas. Silas always wailed in fright when he was surrounded by such a huge crowd, so she started hating the crowds created by the celebrities. Since Ruby warned her, she knew it must be those celebrities. She remembered Lucian passing an order to not let the commoners surround the celebrities in public places. Then, who is that big shot who came here? Mara turned around and found Lucian and Camila at the center of a lively group of students. That is when she remembered that there was an art exhibition festival today in the art school. This happens every year. It was the very same event that Mara and Lucian had attended together before. But now, Camila had seemingly taken Mara's place by Lucian's side. Even though she never attended the event as Luna, she did come and handled the events beside Lucian. Now seeing Camila attending this event with Lucian made her feel nothing now. If it was before she saw the sex video of Lucian, and Camila's on the day her son died while fighting for his life, she would have felt hurt and bad. Right now she only felt nothing scorn towards them. Such a shameless couple, she muttered to herself as she looked at them. Have you ever thought of the legitimacy of that video, Mara? Ruby asked suddenly. Does it matter? Mara asked. No matter what. The fact that Lucian didn't appear that night to protect her son will not be changed. The fact that he failed to protect his son and he failed to be responsible for that doesn't change. Ruby, indirectly, he is the killer of my son, Mara said to her wolf, who was melting at the sight of her son. As Mara stood there, she quietly observed the couple. Lucian felt a gaze at him and suddenly turned around only to meet her eyes. Lucian was genuinely surprised to find Mara in front of that particular painting. His eyes dilated at the sight in front of him. Doubts rose in his mind as he watched Mara breaking the gaze and turning around to observe the painting, like she was doing a minute ago. He could see that she was so into the painting. Lucian felt like the scene was familiar. Sighed. Core. Mini. Flashback. Luck. I am going to the arrangement school today. Remember to attend the event. Do not forget. Students will be waiting for your arrival. I will arrange everything beforehand for you. Mara reminded him for the nth time about the event in the art school. Why do you seem to be so interested in that art school? He asked, rolling his eyes at her. Because the art is beautiful there, she said with a smile. Do you like art? He asked. But I like one particular painting in that school. It gives me peace, Mara said. Of course, it is the same painting that she admired in art school, but the way she perceived it was different. To her, the woman was a happy woman who had little time to spend on housework and her responsibilities. Despite all the responsibilities, the woman in the painting seemed happy and fulfilled as she watered her baby plants. Mara felt herself in that woman's position as she watered the plants. Mara was abnormally happy as she saw the painting. She visited the school just to watch that painting from time to time. A particular painting? Lucian asked her. Yes. I will show it to you today if you come there, she said as she clapped her hands. Whatever. I will come if I have time, Lucian said to her dismissively. That day, Lucian went to the art school. He was curious about the painting that caught her attention. He also felt little nervous to know what kind of painting it was. He also hung a painting, which he painted by himself. Was it the same painting? Or was it the other one? He wondered if she liked any other paintings, so he made a mental note to take those off the wall. If she likes something, then she should like something that belonged to him, or is related to him. "You are here, Mara," exclaimed as she saw Lucian attended the event despite his reluctance. "So, where is the painting?" Lucian asked her, coldly with no expression on his face. She laughed at him. "You are just jealous, right?" she said. "Why would I be jealous? It's not like I love you or like you." "You are just my stand-in wife," he said. A pained expression appeared on her face, but she quickly masked it. Even though it hurt him a bit, he knew she would revert to normal quickly and go after him like usual. She hopped with him as she took him to her favorite painting. "This is it, the watering woman," Mara said in her bubbly tone. A satisfied smile appeared on his face, seeing the painting she liked. "Well, not bad you to have a taste," he commented. Indeed, it's a painting he drew. So does have a taste. Flashback continued. A satisfied smile appeared on his face after seeing the painting she liked. "Well, not bad. You do have a taste," he commented. Indeed, it's a painting he drew. So she does have a taste. It's a painting he drew. The woman in the painting was herself. One day, Lucian came back from the packing office and saw her nowhere at the house. Maids informed him that she was in the glass room watering the plants. That's when he saw a beautiful picture in his life. Inside a bright room made of glass, Mara is taking care of her plants. The sunlight fills the space, making the room feel warm and cozy. The glass walls let you see the plants outside, creating a connection between the inside and the outside. Mara was dressed comfortably in her white and yellow sundress that reached her knees, holding a watering can and gently watering the plants. Lucian could hear the sound of water dripping onto the soil. The room smells like wet soil and flowers, creating a pleasant atmosphere. Lucian never liked the thought of taking care of plants or pets, but for some reason, with how gracefully Mara was taking care of them, he felt that taking care of these plants was not bad. The sound of water, dripping on the soil, and the smell of plants, flowers, and soil made him feel at ease. Lucian noticed she had the most carefree smile on her face. As the sun kissed her golden skin, combined with her smile, it put his heart at ease. For some reason, his lips curled up involuntarily. Lucian looked around the glass room. He noticed that the different plants in the room, with their colorful flowers and hanging vines, showed that they were thriving under the woman's care. The leaves looked shiny and healthy as they soak up the water. As Mara watered her plants, he felt the special bond between her and the greenery. It's as if all the plants were happy to be watered by her. The leaves swung rhythmically in the slow breeze. As the breeze hit her, the baby hairs on her forehead moved. The smile on her face became wider. Mara started humming her favorite tune and dancing to herself. Not knowing she was being watched by Lucian, the sunlight shining through the glass roof creates patterns of light on the floor, making the room feel like a magical place. That sunlight added a natural special effect to that beautiful moment. Lucian leaned on the glass wall as he watched his wife water those plants. No matter how many days passed, that was one of the most carefree moments which he couldn't forget. So, he decided to draw it. And it came exactly as he wished. Now, he saw Mara pointing to the same painting, showing him that she liked it very much. A small, smug smile tugged at his lips. Mara was already dancing in the joy of hearing his positive reply. It was hard to get something positive from his mouth. "I told you right, Luke. This was something nice," Mara said. Her eyes were overflowing with happiness. He noticed that Mara spent her spare time watching that painting. Lucian was proud of his painting. End of flashback. 剪剪剪剪 As the memory made its way into Lucian's brain, he felt something snap in his head. Luke. The sound of Mara calling him rang in his ears. Yes, she called him Luck. But after the death of their son, she distanced herself from him. He blamed her for their son's death and put her away. After that, he never saw her bubbly nature or her carefree attitude. The radiance in her and the joy in her were never seen, even when she watered her favorite plants. Lucian missed her. Her old self, the one who went after him, was like a puppy. She loved him, but was no longer the old one. He hated to see that grave expression on her face, and combined with the fact that this very face was a reminder of his dead son, he felt like hell. Now, seeing Scylla admire the same painting reminded him of all the memories he has of Mara. Was she really not Mara? Was she pretending to be Scylla, just to be away from him? But the mole he saw on her chest made his doubts stronger. Lucian wanted to go over there and confront her. He wanted to go to her and talk to her. He wanted to ask why she was staring at that painting. When he was about to take a step forward, Camille held him back, holding his hand. Lucian, we should go with them, Camilla said to Lucian with a smile. Even before Lucian could say something, Camilla pulled him along with her. Lucian didn't want to leave with her, but he couldn't, and the crowded students around him made it impossible for him to leave the place. He could still see Scylla admiring the painting. Mara, standing before the painting, felt a mix of emotions. This was the very painting she admired for years, and was admiring. In the beginning, she used to think the watering woman was the happiest person in the world. But as she looked at this woman right now, Mara realized she was not the woman she presumed to be her. The woman looked lonely but was happy with all the effort she was putting in by herself. She felt that this woman was happy but was not made happy by others. She made herself happy. What a pathetic life. But she related to that life. She could see that the woman in the painting was in love with someone else, but not herself. This was something she realized with time. When she realized it, even though she admired this painting, she started visiting less. Mara's mood plummeted as she looked at the loving couple. Ruby was no better either. At those people's sight, her anger started to rise. These people were the reason for her son's death. They were living a great life while her son was living under the ground. Mara could feel Ruby's anger. As the seal started to weaken, Mara could feel the rise in Ruby's power. It's not only power but also her emotions. Ruby's emotions intensified. Back in those days, it was she who felt Ruby's feelings. But now it was Ruby who was feeling her. Combined with each other's feelings, Ruby's feelings intensified so much that she couldn't hold on. Her feelings were stronger and fiercer than normal. A kind of aura was being released from Ruby and herself when she felt some strong feelings. Like now. Oh wow! What a great couple. They both looked so pleased with each other in their company. We better get out of their way. Mara said it sarcastically through her gritted teeth. Mara turned around as she peeled her eyes from the couple to see the painting. The watering woman was the name of the painting. Yes, she named this painting when she was insanely in love with Lucian. And this painting, little did she not know that this painting was drawn by Lucian. How pathetic, Mara commented on the woman in the painting. With that, she was about to leave that place. We should leave. I can't stand that stinking smell, Ruby said. Mara nodded her head in agreement. Mara walked to the entrance and picked her phone. Opening the contacts, she clicked on the contact driver to tell him to come to the entrance to pick her up. But just then, she was grabbed and dragged by someone forcefully by her wrist. Who the hell are you? Mara yelled as she felt someone yank her forcefully. Mara was literally mad at the person who did this to her. She was pregnant with her baby. It could be hazardous for her if she were to hurt herself or her baby. She was raging mad like a bull with the reckless behavior of that person. Her aura changed due to the pull. Ruby started taking over. Ruby was raging more than Mara and was ready to snap the person's neck like a twig with her fingers, possibly putting her fetus in danger. Mara turns around and finds out that it's Lucian who yanked her. Instead of calming down, her anger intensified at his sight. A look of disgust took over her face. Lucian was taken aback by the change of expression on her face, but he didn't show it. A cold expression took over his face as he suppressed his anger. Mara noticed that his mate was not present along with him. Still, that didn't satisfy her. Lucian then pulls her to the flower bed near them. Mara looked at him with anger in her eyes. A thick canopy of tension blanketed both Mara and Lucian as they faced each other. Lucian could say Mara was so dissatisfied because of his actions, but he didn't care. Mara pulled her hand from his and said, "This doesn't align with the proper etiquette for an alpha treating a guest." Alpha Lucian. There was a hint of ridicule, anger, and something else that he could not make out. Even after hearing her words, Lucian didn't feel that he had done something wrong. Instead, he looked at her coldly and asked, "Why did you go to see the painting?" Mara threw a dirty glare at him. It was there for the exhibition for people to see. Ruby could understand Mara's thought of direction. She was at the verge of breaking point. As the air thickened between them, Ruby chimed in, "Lucian might be suspecting us." "That painting was once your favorite, so be careful how you answer," Ruby warned. But Mara didn't listen. She was too angry to care about anything. Mara looked at him with a blank look and said, "The painting is right there for everyone to see. Is there a reason I can't look at it? Or has Alpha Lucian's need for control extended to such extremes that what his guests should view was decided by him?" Her response was laced with a touch of sarcasm. Lucian wasn't expecting Scylla to retort to him like that. He didn't like her challenging him in that tone. He felt anger in his veins, but his wolf, Emerald, held him back. "Do not you dare hurt her," Emerald warned him. Lucian calmed down and took a deep breath before lifting his gaze to look at her. "I know someone who also liked this painting," he muttered to her. "So, what does that have to do with me? Just because I liked that painting and admired it, it doesn't mean I should be dragged like a rag doll. This is so disrespectful." Mara almost yelled at him for his behavior. "You look more like that person," he said. Mara has almost lost it now. It has been always this thing. Yes, she agrees that she was Scylla and also Mara. This man was not someone who let go of things so easily. She has to put an end to this now or later. So why not now? Alpha Lucian may be too busy recently that you started having some unrealistic fantasies and hallucinations, she said. Looking at him, her eyes were blank as if she no longer wanted to give an explanation and wanted to leave. "But she has to stay. It's my first time seeing this painting here. There are all kinds of paintings hanging here on the whole wall. I just happened to see this one. Yet, Alpha Lucian hallucinated me as someone who is a ghost. I am sick and tired now of all these things," she said. Frustration and anger were evident in her face and tone. "I am saying this basing it on more than one clue," he said to her. He tried to see a change of expression on her face, but he found nothing on her face. All he saw was frustration and anger toward him. "Can we just talk like adults?" she says tiredly. "Then answer me. Why are you here and watching this painting?" he asked again, singing the old song again, making her frustrated further. "Alpha Lucian, for the last time I am saying it. The painting was on display and happened to be the last painting I stopped at. I noticed it randomly, not wanting it. I don't get why the hell we are having this conversation again and again, for God's sake." "Calm down. Don't attract attention," Ruby warned. Hearing her wolf's warning, Mara took a deep breath to calm herself. Lucian was watching her every move. The more he looked at her, the more he was sure the woman in front of her was none other than Mara. "Since you keep mentioning I am someone who acts and looks like someone you know, then Tell me, who is that person? What really is she? What is she to you that you keep seeing that someone else in me since we met? Was that person one of your loved ones? Or an enemy, to the point that you went ahead and don't even want to care about the relationship between the long-standing pack? Why have never described what kind of person that she is, and what does that person really means to you in your mind? I am really curious to know about this person who made you like this. I wonder if it's love or hate. I have all day to listen to your answer. If you have no answer, do not bother me, Mara said firmly as she looked into his eyes. Mara's pointed words seemed to strike Lucian like a lightning bolt. His attempts to respond were futile, leaving him momentarily speechless, and the weight of the unspoken tensions between them was palpable. He opened and closed his mouth like a fish. He couldn't comprehend what to say. Seeing his reaction, disappointment flickered in Mara's eyes. As she looked at Lucian's reaction, "Look at that man. He can't even say a word. What a coward!" Ruby's angry voice sounded in Mara's head. "This is the man we loved, Ruby. How pathetic we must be," Mara replied to Ruby. "Alpha Lucian, who is that person?" Mara asked. Lucian looked at her with mixed emotions in his eyes. Why does he feel like he was looking at Mara? Before she left the pack, they had a huge confrontation. At that time, she really shocked him. Her every word stabbed deep in his heart. He refused to admit that he was the reason for their son's death. He, too, knew that he was just as responsible as his wife. If he hadn't asked them to wait there all the while, they might have been alive. But he refused to admit that he was at fault. If only his wife were strong, her son would have been alive. As for his mate and the contract, that's what Mara deserved for being weak. Silence prevailed between them for a while. To Lucian, the memories, his decisions, the time, and the love she possessed for him all came into his head, making him stifled. He raised his head and looked at Mara, who was looking at him with anger and something called disappointment. Disappointment. Why? Was she disappointed? Was she disappointed because he couldn't say a thing about her? "I don't think I am obliged to talk about that person," he said coldly. "Then stop comparing that person to me. That is disgusting. We are going back and forth on this topic again and again. This was so frustrating." Just as she was venting her anger, suddenly a tall, handsome young man came to her. He wrapped his hand around her shoulder and pulled her closer to him in such a way that they were close, but their bodies were not touching. Mara was stunned at the person's sudden entry and his closeness. She wanted to yell at him but heard him say, "What are you going to do to my fiancé?" The man's voice cuts through the charged atmosphere. Fiancé. Mara was stunned. There was a shocked expression on her face. Lucian, who was looking at Mara all this while, also saw that Mara was being pulled closer to someone else. He wanted to ask him to move away from her, but he couldn't. There was no reason for him to do that, and he also had no right to do that. Just then, he heard Mara being referred to as his fiancé. Fiancé? When did that happen? Our wife is someone else's fiancé. Lucian heard his wolf's growl. Emerald was growling in pain. Emerald has been urging him to take back Mara too. "I never heard her having a fiancé," Lucian said. "I never heard Miss Scylla had been engaged." Lucian said, "Our engagement happened some time ago. Not everyone is informed," the man said. Mara felt a gentle yet firm grip on her shoulders, and as she looked up, she was met with a sight that stirred a mixture of surprise and curiosity. The man standing before her was a vision of handsomeness and nobility. His features were chiseled, with a strong jawline accentuating his well-defined face. His eyes, a deep shade of azure, held an intensity that hinted at both strength and kindness. His dark hair cascaded in carefully tousled waves, framing his face with an air of regality. Despite his striking appearance, Mara couldn't recall ever encountering this man before. She furrowed her brow slightly, a perplexed expression settling on her features. Why would he claim she was his fiancée? She didn't understand why he would say that. The man, exuding a confident charm, spoke with a voice that resonated like a melody. "My dearest Mara, it has been a while since we last met." His words hung in the air, leaving Mara grappling with more confusion. She couldn't fathom how this man was connected to her. Skepticism etched Mara's features as she faced the mysterious man who claimed to be her fiancé. The air was thick with uncertainty, and a myriad of questions swirled in her mind. What were his motives? Why was he acting this way? Was he a friend or foe? Was he arranged by someone to harm her? Who was it? Was it Camila or her pack enemies? Or was he related to the sorcerer? The enigma of the situation weighed heavily on Mara's shoulders. Amidst this internal turmoil, Ruby said, "Mara, he doesn't mean any harm. He is supposed to be a high-level werewolf as well," Ruby asserted to Mara. After she got her powers, she could sense what kind of people and their level of power when she came across. This way, Ruby was able to warn Mara ahead and escape any possible dangers. Puzzled by the sudden turn of events, Mara furrowed her brow, her eyes reflecting the moonlight and the shadows of uncertainty. "A high-level werewolf," she echoed, seeking clarification from Ruby, who had become her guiding voice in this perplexing situation. A high-level werewolf. A high-level werewolf, claiming himself as her fiancé. Why does she feel something was cooking up? Mara believes Ruby's words. Yes, he might not mean any harm. But why was he putting on this act? Was he arranged by her parents to help her? Ruby, adopting a calm and assertive tone, continued to offer guidance. "Yes, Mara, it seems there is more to this than meets the eye. Going along with his claims might be the best way for now," Ruby suggested, weaving a thread of logic into the tangled narrative. Indeed, this way she could get rid of Lucian. Maybe her wolf was right, but she was still confused about his identity and his motives. Right now, what's more important was, get rid of him. Mara sighed in reluctant agreement. "I don't understand what is happening, Ruby, but if it helps us get out of this situation without further trouble, I'll play along," Mara conceded. "I don't think so, miss. Scylla seems to think that way," Lucian said. "He was watching her from the moment this man came in. Just punch him and claim her, Lucian," Emerald growled in his head. "She denies being Mara. We need to get her to agree that before we do something." Lucian yelled at his wolf. "You will regret this, Lucian. I am telling you, you will regret this greatly." Emerald said it in anger. Emerald was trying to take over Lucian's body and chase Mara. But Lucian was too strong to take over. Emerald has always been under control due to Lucian's power. Emerald can smell the familiar scent of Mara. Given the mole on Mara's chest, he was sure that Scylla was Mara. Just because she denied it doesn't make her Scylla. He was sure that she was Mara. Since he knew Scylla was Mara and Mara was Scylla, why go through this ordeal? Of course, Mara's wolf seemed to get stronger and lost the connection with her wolf. But that doesn't mean she was not his wife. Now, Emerald couldn't digest the fact that Mara was engaged to another man and he was putting his hand around her shoulders. How could Emerald digest this? Emerald had this foreboding feeling that Mara would slip from their fingers at this rate. Just as he was about to say something more, he heard Mara's soft, yet firm voice. "I wonder what made Alpha Lucian think that way. Of course, he is my fiancé. I was just surprised at his sudden appearance," Mara said, as she took his hand off her shoulders and intertwined both of their fingers together. Lucian almost gritted his teeth out. He couldn't digest the fact that Mara would take the initiative to hold some other man's hand in her grip. "Lucian, it's not late. Let's apologize and get her back. We can't let this man take our mate. How dare he hold her hands? When we ourselves never did that, Emerald said it angrily. He was going crazy seeing someone else hold her hand, and Mara was even allowing him to do that. She is not our mate, Emerald. Don't forget that, Lucian warned. My dear Alpha Lucian seems to have a misconception due to my surprised expression, Mara said softly to the man beside her, cutting off Lucian's and Emerald's conversation again unknowingly. My dear. She called him my dear. Emerald seethed in Lucian's head. Are you surprised? Did you like my surprise? The man asked with a gentle expression on his face. Mara unknowingly felt calmness envelope her when hearing his voice. Very much. But if you had informed me earlier, we would have planned for a date, she said. Don't worry. I did plan for a date, he said. Lucian could feel Emerald seething in anger and getting out of control. It's getting hard for Lucian to deal with Emerald now. Lucian doesn't know why. Emerald was getting out of control when he saw Mara, rather than Camila. When Camila was clearly their mate, they should be more attracted to her than to Mara. Lucian wondered what the reason was for this. Won't you congratulate us, Alpha Lucian? Mira asked suddenly, as if she remembered Lucian's presence just now, which irked Lucian more. Won't you congratulate us, Alpha Lucian? Mira asked suddenly, as if she remembered Lucian's presence just now, which irked Lucian more. Mara looked at Lucian's ever-so-cold expression on his face. She has been his wife for nearly 5 years. Even though he has his signature cold look, she understands a few of his expressions. She could say he was being torn now, and he was confused, because he knew Mara would never get engaged to someone. If only he knew, Scylla could get engaged to someone else. I am just surprised. There is no news about such a big thing, Lucian said. We just don't want to go public yet. We are not in a hurry to do it. We want to have our dating time and enjoy each other's company. Unlike you, Alpha Lucian, the man said. After all, I am not like you. You announced to the world about your mate and her pregnancy in such a high-profile manner. I can do it to my wife too, but we don't want it as of now, but I will follow your lead during our wedding, the man said with a smile on his face. For some reason, Lucian, who used to be in control all the time, was no longer in control. His expression cracked as he watched the smile on this so-called fiancé of hers. The thought of Camilla's pregnancy irked him more. He had to announce that to the world for the sake of the pack and the council elders. Even though Camilla was not pregnant, he had to do it. That was the moment he hated being alpha. For the sake of the pack and to stabilize the pack situation, he did that. The Glitter Pack has heirs, while the Lethe Pack doesn't. Announcing that the Lethe Pack was expecting a child would make it less fierce to fight with the Glitter Pack. Now, he can't take back what he announced, or he can't even get Mara. Or was it the reason why Mara was refusing to go back with him? Even when Camilla was not pregnant, she seemed to be against the idea of having Camilla around her. He wondered what could make Mara concede to him. But before that, he needs Mara to accept that she is Mara. He really wants to tear off this mask of hers. Glitter Pack is really secretive about their actions. Lucian commented, What to do? My parents love me so much. They cherish me a lot. To them, I come first more than anything. Mara countered to his comment. Lucian's expression cracked at her words. Why did it feel like she was saying he didn't cherish her? Oh, did you congratulate him for going to become a father? Mara said this to the man beside her with a smile on her face. Oops, he said, and turned to Lucian again. Alpha Lucian, congratulations on going to become a father. I heard you lost your son previously because of your work. I hope you take care and spend time with this child, the man said as he looked at Lucian. I will keep your words in my heart, Lucian said with a hardened expression. Why does he feel like he is being mocked by this man? His presence was so disturbing that Lucian wanted to throw this man out of this world. Just then, a limo drove there. The man smiled, looking at the limo. It's time for our date. We need to fresh up before we go. We will take our leave, Alpha Lucian. I hope to meet you again. This time I would love to meet your fiancé, he said. Goodbye, Alpha Lucian. Stop looking for ghosts from now on, Mara said and left there. The arrival of limo attracted the attention. The man held Mara's hand. There was a constant smile on both of their faces as they walked off. The men led Mara towards the limo. Everyone looked at them as they walked off. What a beautiful couple. They look so good. The woman is so beautiful. He was a lucky man. The man is no less either. He is too handsome. They both can be mistaken for God and Goddess. When will I meet a partner like him? I feel they both are in love. They must be a pair. Why God is biased? They both are so beautiful. Imagine their kids. They would be super cute and beautiful. Aya. The thought of their kids make it more exciting. I heard handsome men become good fathers. They protect their kids with everything. This man looks like a high-level werewolf. Of course, he would protect his children. Which man wouldn't do it? Aish. They are my new favorite couple from now on. The students talked among themselves about Mara and her fiancé. Lucian felt his heart tighten hearing their comments. Would he and Mara be praised this way if he didn't hide her? He wondered before he could think further. Mara and that man left already. Why did you let them go? That woman was our Mara, Emerald growled again. She is not our Mara. She has different scent and has different identity. Our Mara wouldn't get engaged to someone. Maybe she was really not Mara. We are mistaking, Lucian said. Are you trying to convince yourself with that? Then why did you make such a scene earlier, her? What do you want to achieve by doing that? Emerald confronted angrily. Lucian fell silent, hearing Emerald's words. It's all your fault that she left. Why didn't you stop her? Emerald yelled again. Just because she didn't agree doesn't mean she is not ours. Even if her scent and identities are different, there was no way I could mistake our mate. She is our mate. And you let her go. Emerald puked all his frustration on Lucian. We need to leave. Stop yelling, Lucian said with a cold voice as usual. Emerald let out a frustrated sigh. Realizing he would not get an answer from him, Mara still couldn't fathom Lucian's feelings after all these scenarios. This man was seriously in his menopause, following this strange man toward the waiting limousine. Mara couldn't contain her curiosity. Who are you? She asked without wasting her time anymore. Her eyes scanned every inch of his face. Sharp eyes, beautiful brownish-yellow orbs, a Greek nose, high cheekbones, sharp nose, a square face. He looked so handsome, but she was done with men. She won't go gaga over him. He was that man that any woman would die for. But not Mara. To her surprise, the man looked genuinely taken aback. His thick brows scrunched together, and his eyes held disbelief. You really don't know who I am? He questioned, a hint of disbelief in his tone. Am I supposed to know you? Mara counter-questioned him with her innocent eyes. The man looked at her innocent expression and felt amused. He let out a small chuckle. Susan should have informed you ahead of time, he said. Mara furrowed her brow further in confusion. Susan, what does she have to do with all of this? And why should she have told me about you? Who are you to her? The man sighed. A mixture of frustration and realization in his expression. Mara, I am your brother, he revealed, his words carrying a weight of familial connection. Shocked. Mara's eyes widened. My brother is Owen. I am not taking anyone as my brother. And how could you claim yourself as my fiancé if you are my brother? So disgusting, she yelled in disgust. The man nodded solemnly. Fate separated our paths, and for your safety, our connection was kept from you. Mara couldn't make any head and tail with his words. Why the hell are you talking like an old Buddha saint? Ah, this is annoying, Mara yelled. The thought of someone who was supposed to be her brother lied to her that he was her fiancé. Just the thought of it made her feel like she committed a fresh round of incest. The world is cruel, but bonds are finer. We must commit to satisfy the fate. The man recited a poem that made Mara even more annoyed. Enough. I am done. I am done with your weird poems and you. Mara yelled at him and was about to get off. Lucian is still waiting outside, he said, raising his brows at her. Crossing his hands against her chest, he looked at her as if he was challenging her to do it. Truth to be told, he possessed all the qualities of an annoying sibling, but in no way he was resembling her parents or anyone. This man must be a scammer. She thought, but the fact that he knew her sister made her worried. Was this man already toying with her sister too? That girl was too silly. She believes people so easily. Mara has to do something to save her sister. This man looks too cunning. I could care less. I am getting off, she said, and was about to climb off. The man was quicker. He locked the car doors. Are you kidding me now? Mara couldn't contain her anger anymore. Yes, she agrees. He helped her get away from Lucian. She was thankful, but that doesn't mean she would let him take advantage of her like this. Seeing the smile on his face, Mara felt even more annoyed. Mara, he is playing a prank. Sit down and talk to him calmly, Ruby reminded her. Mara took a deep breath and calmed herself down. Settling back in her seat, she was silent for a few seconds. Let me go, she said calmly. But the suppressed anger on her face made her look scarier than earlier. The man felt he should cut the act. All right, I give up, my lady. Sorry for earlier. I am not your brother as I claimed. Check your phone. Your sister must have sent you a message right now. Check it, he said anxiously. I am glad. You are not my brother, Mara said with a relieved sigh. She was still annoyed with the fact that a stranger pulled a prank over her. But that doesn't mean she was not conscious about him. Why? Did you think it would be a waste to let go off a handsome man like me? He said with a smug expression. Cut it. I am glad that I won't have to deal with you on a daily basis, she said, patting her chest. Mara took her phone out and checked for Susan's message. Just as he claimed, she saw Susan's message saying, Sister, I sent someone. He will come there to pick you up. He is. Before she could read further, the man cuts her off. I will introduce myself. I am the son of Blood River Pack Alpha. Glitter Pack and Blood River Pack are on friendly terms for years. I heard you and your sister are in Lethe Pack, so I came here to bring my parents' greetings to you, he said seriously. His earlier playful smirk disappeared from his pack. His face revealed the power of the future Alpha. Oh, Mara said with a yawn. The man turned speechless hearing her response. He thought she would retort something and scold him. But what was oh? What do you mean by oh? He asked. What else shall I say? I don't even know your name, she said with another yawn. Are you sleepy? He asked. I am. If you let me down, I will leave, Mara said. The man realized. He fucked up, for real. I am so sorry. I will not repeat that again. I am so sorry, forgive me, he begged cutely. His actions reminded her of Taylor. She smiled at him but hid it immediately. Forget it. So, what's your name? Mara asked. Oh, I am Leo, the man replied. Can you drop me at my place now? Mara asked. Yes. He bobbed his head and signaled his driver to drive. Mara texted her driver to bring the car over to her apartment as she left in Leo's car. So, we are meeting for dinner tonight, right? Leo asked. Why would we? She asked with a confused expression. What do you mean? Didn't you say earlier, Leo said. What did I say? That you have a date with me. Oh, that! Mara's face held an enlightened expression upon hearing his words. Yeah, so we are going, he said. Number we are not. I just said that to piss him off, but I took it seriously. I didn't. Mara yawned again, which made Leo aggrieved further. You can't do this to me. Do you badly want to go? On a date? Yes. He bobbed his head repeatedly at her like a cute guy. Mara felt her heart drop, seeing such a handsome man acting this cutely. Then go by yourself. No one's stopping you. Mara said sassily as she blew air on her nails. What? Leo exclaimed. The driver in the front seat could no longer hold his laugh and laughed out loud. Stop yelling. You are hurting my ears, Mara said, as she dramatically covered her ears. But on a serious note, we need to have a date, he said. His earlier playful expressions were replaced with serious expressions. Mara knew he was being serious. She decided to reject him seriously. I am not int. Before she could refuse him, he cut her off. I am saying it because that man is following us. We have to make him believe that we are engaged at least till the time I am here. Leo said seriously. All right. Give me some time. I have to dress up for a date, she said with a laugh. True. I need to look handsome too, he said with a cute smile. If she hadn't entangled with Lucian from the start, maybe Mara would have picked Leo to be with her. Such a shame. It's too late. Leo drops her at her apartment and asks her, when shall I come back to pick you up? This evening, Mara said. All right, he replied, and waved her by. After he left, Lucian, who followed them, felt relieved and went back. He saw the CCTV outside her villa and decided to keep an eye on her. If you have took some actions, we would not need to follow her like this. Lucian heard Emerald's voice again. Lucian ignored his wolf and was about to make his way back home. Don't, that man is going to take her on a date. Let's watch, Emerald yelled in his head. Lucian wanted to ignore his wolf, but again, his heart made it impossible for him. He stayed back to see whether they were going on a date or not. Mara entered her and sighed. Today has been a crazy day to her. She felt Lucian finally turned crazy. Taking off her heels, she threw them somewhere not caring where they landed, and slumped on her bed. Mara got up feeling thirsty. As she drank water, she remembered her mother texted her in the morning, but she was yet to reply to her. Sealing the bottle back after drinking her fill, she walked to her bed and took her phone. She opened her laptop and video called her mother. Hi, Mom, Mara said, with a smile seeing her mother's happy face. How are you, my child? Laura asked, seeing her daughter. I am fine, Mom, Mara said with a tired sigh. What's wrong? Laura asked with concern. Nothing. I met Lucian. My mood is disturbed, she said with a sigh. What did he do? Laura asked with worry on her face. I went to Sussie's art school to give her a painting kit. That little lady forgot her kit. So she ordered me to bring it over, Mara said with a chuckle. That girl, let her come back. I will twist her ears, Laura said, with her nose flaring in the phone. I can already imagine her cries, Mom, Mara said with a smile. That girl can be troublesome at times, Laura said, shaking her head. True, but I am glad that I have her. I can shop with her and talk about trends, and she is that sister who cheers me for everything. Well, all these came at the cost of her naughtiness, Mara said as she laughed at it. True. Laura laughed at her daughter. Seeing her daughter laugh, Laura knew that Mara had forgotten about the incident. Even though she wanted to ask about it in detail, she said nothing. So Lucian, Mara started. Laura thought Mara wouldn't talk about it, but she did. He saw me in front of a painting I liked in the past and questioned my identity again. I shut him up, and then Blood River Pack Alpha's son, Leo, came and acted a bit with me by claiming to be my fiancé. Then he let me go. Mara said with a yawn. Good that you got rid of him. Do you want to return here? Your pregnancy will enter a critical stage now. Laura asked. Not yet. Sussie's course will be done in 2 months. We won't bump into each other anymore, so I don't think it would be a problem, Mara said, waving her hand. If you say so, Laura said. So what now? Laura asked again. I am going on a fake date with Leo, to make that Lucian believe that I am indeed Leo's fiancé. This way he and his mate would stop troubling me, Mara said with a sigh. How is that Leo kid? Laura asked as her eyes lit up. He is a good-looking kid. I remembered my little brother Taylor when I saw him, Mara said with a smile. Little brother? Why are brothers zoning him now? She asked. When did I? That's my honest feeling, Mara said. You should consider him, Mara, Laura said. Mom, no. I don't want to get married right now. I want to be a good mother and a strong one at that who could protect her pup. Mara said. But don't you know pups needs a father? Laura said. I understand, Mom. But right now I am not in a position to handle a man in my life, Mara said. Laura sighed at her daughter's words. I am not saying you or women need a man to support them. I am saying you need someone who can support you and stay by your side all the time, Laura said. Mom, when the time comes, I will definitely marry. But now, let me get stronger and give birth to my child, Mara said. Fine, I will not ask you to get married, but give it a try. That kid Leo is not a bad guy. He is a good guy. It's just that he is as goofy as your dad. Apart from that, he is a loving man, Laura said. Mara laughed. Indeed, he angered me to death earlier, Mara said. What did he do? Laura asked with curiosity. Mara could see her mother growing ears like a rabbit to hear gossip. Mom, I am your daughter. Why are you treating me like I am a piece of gossip monger? Mara said helplessly. I can't help it. That kid is good with the women's department, but never dated anyone. So, I am curious, Laura said in her defense. All right, listen then, Mara said, and narrated the whole incident to her mother. Gosh, he is so stupid, Laura said, as she laughed hard, clutching her stomach. True right, Mara agreed with her mother. Just then, Mara saw a figure sneakily waving at her into the screen, standing behind her mother, conspicuously. Dad! Mara screamed, exposing Leonard. Oh, my dear daughter, I just returned home. You must have missed Dad to greet me like that. Leonard acted shamelessly. What? Was a shame. He left it years ago. If he had shame, he wouldn't have won his wife over and have these beautiful children. Mara was speechless. Forget it. She would forget it for once. She will show how shameless she could be after going back. Dad, May missed you, Mara said with a pout. Leonard started calling her May and even banned everyone from using that nickname apart from him. Leonard felt satisfied, and his chest rose in pride, hearing his daughter's words. His pride feeling melted immediately the moment he turned his face and looked at his wife's expression. My daughter missed me, he said goofily. Don't fool me. I saw you waving your hand from my back through my phone. Laura exposed her husband mercilessly. Presumptuous! How could you accuse me like that so blatantly? It's clear that my daughter missed me so much. The moment she saw my back figure in the screen, she greeted me with healthy driven enthusiasm. Leonard said righteously. Accusation. Presumptuous. Healthy driven enthusiasm. Looks like you are using some dictionary words to talk to me. Laura said with a glare to her husband. Mom, I saw Dad waving his hand into the phone standing behind you, Taylor said, as he walked towards his mother and settled at the other side of her. How are you, sister? I missed you, Taylor said cutely to her. WWW. My baby brother. Sister missed you too. Wait. I actually sent some gifts for everyone. They will reach you all tomorrow. Mara said with an excited expression. Ah, I can't wait to check them. Taylor said excitedly. What did you send it to me? Leonard asked as his eyes shined like stars. You will know tomorrow. Sit down now, Laura said as she pulled her overly enthusiastic husband back into the seat. Such a killjoy, Leonard muttered. I heard it, Laura warned. Mara shook her head helplessly as she heard them bicker like kids. Mom, where is Big Brother? Mara asked. He went to Mountain Bear Pack to do negotiations. He shall be back by evening, Laura said. Then tell him I missed him too, Mara said to her mother. He will be sad that he couldn't get to talk to you, Laura said. Good for him. That brat deserved that. He stole you first, then Mara, and then Sussy. I will boast to him today. Leonard snorted proudly. Are you bad-mouthing me, Dad? Owen's voice could be heard from the entrance. Why would I? Leonard denied quickly even before he looked at his son, denying quickly. Is that guilt? Owen pressed his words more accurately at his father. Who is guilty? You are the one who is guilty. You are supposed to be at Mountain Bear Pack. Leonard accused his son readily. Unlike certain someone, I am smart, Owen said smugly, and walked towards his mother. Mara. Owen smiled widely, seeing Mara was on call. Big Brother. Mara greeted him enthusiastically. How is my little sister? He asked her. Your little sister misses her brother, Mara said with a pout. Do you want your brother to come there? Owen asked readily. Not now, weekend. Sussy will have off too, Mara said. All right. Let brother take you out, Owen said to her dotingly. You cheater. How could you say that? It should be me who should say, let father take you out, always stealing my lines. Leonard exploded in anger. He shed an invisible stream of tears for not getting that idea. It's your fault that you are stupid. Don't blame me for your stupidity, Owen said with a smug attitude. You don't respect your father enough, Leonard accused. Then start treating me like a son instead of a competitor, Owen said to his father. Mara watched them bicker like kids and yawned. For some reason, she felt calm. All the things that happened today vanished just like that. Her heart was emptied and was filled with happiness. Anyways, my dear family, don't forget to take my gifts tomorrow, and I will hang. I will take a small nap. I don't know why, but I feel too tired. Do you think it's iron deficiency? Mara asked them with another yawn. You should get tested and check what you are lacking, or Owen, on weekend. When you go there, get it done with her. Okay, Laura orders her son. Okay, Mom. Owen agrees. Or shall I come there? Laura says worriedly. Mom, it must be nothing. Mara said immediately, slapping her mouth. Enough! You know nothing. Laura chided Mara. All right, my lady. But brother will take care, so don't fly here like a mother hen, Mara said. After some persuasion, Laura and Leonard calmed down and decided Owen was to take Mara to the hospital. All right. I will take a nap now. Bye, guys, Mara said to her parents. Her parents waved her goodbye before hanging the call. Mara woke up from her nap and took a bath. She straightened her hair and wore a black knee-length bodycon. The dress was loose till her stomach from her hips, and it hugged her tight ass, making her look sexy yet modest. When it was time for the date, she waited for Leo's call. Just when the call came, she picked it up. Hey, Leo greeted. Hi. Where are you? She asked. I am waiting already, he replied. All right. I will be there in a minute, she said, and hung up. On the other side of the road, Lucian sat up straight when he saw Leo's car pull it. He was happy that Leo didn't live with Mara, but he felt angry and sad that he got to live with her and spend time with her. If not for incompetence, it would be us with her. Emerald stabbed. Lucian ignored it as usual. They reached the restaurant, which looked calm, elegant, and peaceful. Mara has been in Lethea's pack for years, but she never came out to enjoy it. When she saw this hanging lawn restaurant, she was mesmerized. "This place looks nice," Mara commented. "I know. When I came here, I looked into the best restaurants and picked this one. This restaurant was established by the Alpha Lucian. I have to say he has fine taste," Leo said. "Oh," Mara hummed. As she looked into the restaurant, she felt a little foreboding feeling. Because she always had a wish to build a restaurant of her taste. Her son loved the food she made, so she noted down the features she wanted to have for her future restaurant. This one had those exact features she noted down in her diary. It's as if Lucian got it built after reading her diary. But she heard that Camila got her every single thing of her burned. Then it would be impossible for him to build this knowing her preferences. If she were put those thoughts into ideas, she would got it built exactly or similarly this way. Mara took a deep breath and calmed down. This was not the time to think of Lucian. She should enjoy her food here. The moment Leo entered, a waitress came towards them meticulously. After saying his reservation details, she guided them near to a glass wall. They could see the bustling city from their chairs. Just then Mara saw a car parked in front of their glass wall in a distance. It looked inconspicuous, but also in a way that the person who was in the car could see them here. Mara squinted her eyes and took a look at the car again. Yes, that man was Lucian. He did really followed them all the way here. Why? Was he jealous? Or did he come to check whether they were telling the truth or not? Or was he thinking that she was still Mara? If he still looked at her as Mara, then he would still doubt her identity. Mara would never dare to go out with a man. Soon, the waitress came and took out their menu. Mara picked some dishes that she could eat as a pregnant woman. Leo didn't comment on her healthy picks. Everyone has their own tastes. Leo and Mara started talking animatedly, as if they were long-lost friends. Soon, their food arrived. The waitress served them and left. Lucian, who was watching them from distance, looked at their distant figures meaningfully. "I didn't expect us to go on a date when it's only the first time we met today," Mara said with a smile. "Me too, but it's my honor to go on a date with an amazing lady like you," Leo replied. Mara nodded her head leisurely at him. Mara still didn't understand why he was not asking her any questions about the relationship between Lucian and her. She wondered what was going on in his mind. He didn't even question even for the sake of mentioning it. Mara looked at him with so many questions in her head. "What's wrong?" he asked, waving his hand in front of her face. "Nothing," she said with a small smile. "What is it?" Leo asked her again. "It's really nothing," she said again. "It's not nothing. There are question marks on your face," Leo pointed with a relaxed smile. Leo meant he would not leave her alone if she brushed off his question again. "You are a stubborn one, aren't you?" she said with a small chuckle. "Only in your case," he said. "Don't be," she said to him. "Why?" he asked her. "It might not be fruitful," she said. "Is that a challenge?" "Then I shall make you open your mouth," he said with wiggling his brows at her. Just then, he called a waitress, waving his hand. "Take away these black beans and fish," Leo said. "Why did you take them away?" she asked him. "I ordered these for you. I asked your sister for your preferences list, but these black beans and fish are really making you uncomfortable," he said to her. "An observant, I see," Mara said. "I agree. And I did observe Lucian waiting outside." "Your question marks must be related to him, right?" he asked. Mara raised her brow at him. partially right, she replied. Then, those question marks may include me too, Leo added, with a raised brow. Since you got it right, you shall guess my question marks too, Mara said. Let's think then, he said as if he was trying to think hard. Keep thinking. I will keep eating, she replied. It must be why. Am I not asking you about the relationship between you both? Or why am I not asking you why he is harassing you? These must be the questions, right? He asked her. Mara looked at him, before breaking into a smile, as expected of a soon-to-be alpha. Mara said, I am born smart, he said smugly. Why not answer my questions then? He continued. Mara looked at him as she stuffed her mouth with a broccoli piece. I don't who the person was, but he knew a woman who looked like me. From then he is refusing to believe that I am not that said person. I can't even prove that I am not her as she passed away. Mara said with a sigh. Can't he say the differences with scent, strength, and memories? Leo asked a little speechlessly. He acts like a crazy person. Mara pointed, shaking her head. Forget it. There will be a time where he will be forced to accept the reality and the demise of that person. True, he said. They had their meal. When the dessert came, he asked Mara, why not go out with me? I find you interesting and feel an amazing bond between us, Leo said, all of a sudden taking her by surprise. Mara was surprised at his words. She expected something like this, but not this soon. Anyways, since he said it this early, she would answer him early too. I am N. Before she could finish, he cut her words off. Answer me. When you reach home, not now, he requested. Fine. She obliged. After the meal, they took a walk on the streets. Lucian watched them take a leisurely walk after their meal. As they walked leisurely through the city, Leo's relaxed demeanor made the evening enjoyable, transforming their outing from a fake date into a genuinely pleasant experience. Lucian was watching the both of them, spending time together while chatting and laughing. He was her husband in the past. How could she shamelessly cling to another man? He felt anger coursing through his veins. He wanted to tear the man into pieces and feed him to pigs and dogs. He is taking our woman. Let's go fight for her. Emerald's voice rang in Lucian's ears. Due to Emerald's continuous non-stop questioning, and his buzz in Lucian wouldn't have been swayed this much. Yes, he just wanted to prove Scylla was Mara. He doesn't know what to do if Scylla was proven as Mara. As he watched the beautiful, who looked like a freshly polished jade with an unknown man, who was treating like she was his world, made his heart shudder in an unknown fear. This was the same feeling he got when he heard her death news. Why was he feeling this way? This shouldn't happen, right? Maybe the nagging of Emerald got to his head. Lucian looked at Mara again. As Mara took a stroll in the night, she had the look of comfort on her face. Her beautiful black wavy hair danced to the night breeze. Her brown eyes with a touch of blue sapphire shined like bright stars that stole his heart and Emerald's heart all over again. His heart raced to see her looking all beautiful. Mara's almond-shaped eyes combined with her innocence, which was veiled under maturity. He felt a pang in his chest. Her small button nose and plump lips complemented her blessed figure. Lucian suddenly felt she was a lot more beautiful than she was with him. Did she become beautiful to attract other men? Why didn't she try to attract him when he was with her? Did she disdain living with him? Is that why she left faking all these? Did she dread him this much? Was she happy to leave him? He didn't know what to feel now. There was a pain in his heart which he ignored, but not his wolf Emerald. Lucian, let's get her back. Only then we can have her again. Without her everything will be messed up, Emerald said in a calm voice for the first time after many days. Messed up, Lucian repeated. It's his wolf who has messed up, not him. He was the great Lucian Rudolph, the alpha of the biggest pack in the werewolf world. Everyone will be scared just by hearing his name. How would he be messed up? By losing just one woman. Don't tell me you never felt empty with her absence, Emerald said. Why would I regret? Lucian asked his wolf in return. Then why are you here? Why are you sure that woman is Mara? Since she is Scylla, you shouldn't care about whoever she was on a date or whoever she is engaged to. Why are you here? Why did you camp in front of her house all day and follow them here? What is your motive? Emerald asked Lucian, making him speechless. Lucian was silent for a long time. Even he doesn't know why he was here. For some reason he thought they were lying. He wanted to check their relationship if it's proved wrong. He wanted to confront them. Why do you want to confront them, Lucian? Why do you care so much about her? Emerald questioned him. Shut up. As if you treated Ruby well. Didn't you shut her off? You even cut the link between you both. You love Camila. Mara hated to be a third party from the beginning. What made you think she would return if we got her? Even if she is Mara, why are so sure that she comes to us? She left us making us believe she is dead. What a cunning woman. Lucian yelled at his wolf. He doesn't know if his anger was directed toward his wolf, Mara, or himself. He couldn't vent his anger or frustration at anyone. Lucian suddenly felt powerless despite being the great alpha of Lethe pack. Seeing his wolf turn silent, he felt at peace. He lifted his head and looked at Mara again. He noticed she became healthier than she was with him. Mara's cheeks were a bit chubby than she was with him. Her cheeks have this healthy glow with a tint of pinkness. They looked meaty and rounder. When Mara was with him, she always looked like a sick person, but now she looks healthy and glowing. Mara looked healthy and glowing when she was pregnant with their son. But now there was no way the Scylla or Mara to be pregnant. So, her glow was natural. And it came from care, absolutely. Indeed, Glitterpack Alpha and Luna care about their children so much. Even with the heavy schedule, they never neglect the care towards their kids. They never hired a nanny to them. They tended to their kids on their own. That was why he was always jealous of Owen and his siblings. Now that Mara was with them, they would have definitely taken care of her, making her healthy. She must have felt special. Why? Was he feeling sad that she was not pregnant with his child? If she was, she would strip her disguise and come to him on her own. On the other thought, how could she get pregnant after all? There was no chance for them to get pregnant. They never got intimate after their son's death. If she was treated a bit better and he had given her a little bit of intimacy, rather than blaming her, she would have stayed right. Then, it was his fault. Wait. Why would it be his fault? He never lied. This woman deserved every bit of his actions. Yes, it's her fault, not his. Emerald wanted to say something, but he stayed silent. Even if he doesn't want to agree, it's his fault. When Lucian ignored her, he went as far as shutting the spouse connection. He was not innocent either. Lucian looked at Mara, who was laughing as she chatted with Leo. Why was his heart burning to see her happy with another man? Lucian looked at Mara, who was laughing as she chatted with Leo. Why was his heart burning to see her happy with another man? In the darkness, Mara looked mysterious, and her subtle smile tingled hearts. Even the shining moon was intrigued by her smile and shined brighter as if he wanted to tell her, "You are beautiful, honey." The silvery moonlight fell on her jade-like skin, making her look like an ethereal beauty. Of course, she was beautiful, unlike Camila, who got plastic surgeries to look beautiful. Mara's black wavy hair framed her face, occasionally catching the moonlight and giving her an ethereal glow. As Mara walked, there was a quiet elegance in her every step, leaving a sense of calm in the peaceful night. Mara resembled a goddess who came to Earth to check on her children. Suddenly, Lucian saw a blue-colored glow surrounding her frame from top to bottom. "What was that glow?" Lucian murmured. "What glow?" Emerald asked, hearing his host's words. "The blue-colored glow around her," Lucian replied. "I saw nothing." "You have been mistaken," Emerald replied. Lucian looked at her again. Indeed, there was no glow. Maybe he looked at her wrongly. Again, there was a blue glow on her. "Now look," Lucian pointed. "Can't you see the lights around that railing? It's just reflecting on her. If not, look at that guy Leo too. He has that so-called blue glow," Emerald said as he rolled his eyes. Lucian realized Emerald was right. Sai was thinking too much, but unbeknownst to them, it's really her glow. It's the result of soaking in the full moon after the seal on her wolf powers has been weakened by a lot. Her powers have been reacting to nature and even responding to it. The blue glow was that response. Her blue glow was not noticed by anyone but Lucian. Why was it only Lucian who could see her glow? Only time could answer this question. Mara didn't know that she was attracting people's gazes when the invisible blue glow surrounded her. She was in her world taking a walk. She felt too peaceful for the first time after many days. Yes, she was going to reject Leo, but his company was comforting and gave her peace. If only they met earlier. If only she met him 5 years ago. If only she was in a position to accept him. How nice it would have been, but it's just there was no place for IFS in this world. She was pregnant now. All she wanted was to go back to Glitterpack and raise her child with love and care. As for Lucian, he looked happy with Camila. He should be with her. Leo noticed Mara was enjoying the walk with a somber smile on her face. Her face was a reflection of peace, calm, serenity, and a healthy smile. Seeing her smile, a small smile made its way onto his face too. Leo felt attracted to Mara. She was such a beautiful woman who looked mature, yet her innocence was never lost. When he pulled a prank on him, instead of crying and begging him, she instead shouted at him and warned him. She didn't trust him until she saw her sister's message. How interesting, he thought. Look there. Leo pointed suddenly. Mara turned her head. Where he pointed, she saw a fountain being turned on reflecting in different colors. Looking at it, Mara smiled. Small things were definitely the most beautiful things. "It's beautiful," Mara said. "It is," Leo responded. Lucian, who was far away from them, noticed her looking at the water fountain. Suddenly, he felt she was happy with little things. Did she fall for him with these little tricks? How stupid, he thought. At least he is by her side as he played little tricks. "You were absent for 5 years when she tried hard to be in your life," Emerald shot back at Lucane's thoughts. "You were absent for 5 years when she tried hard to be in your life." Emerald shot back at Lucane's thoughts. "Why are you quick to defend her in everything these days? What happened to you?" "Our mate is Camila. You reminded me of that n number of times." "Now did you forget that thing?" Lucian asked. Lucian knew he was wrong. It's just that he doesn't have to treat her the way she wants to. He gave her money, luxury, name, and status as his wife. He even let her carry his child. What more could he give her? He just felt she was growing greedy. In many cases, men think that performing their duty is enough, but they fail to do the bare minimum for their other halves. When their spouse or their partner retaliates and demands what they deserve, they get angry. They get angry to be reminded of their shortcomings, flaws, and their mistakes. If they have to treat her right, then they have to agree. They were wrong. Now, Lucian was this man. He doesn't want to agree with his wrongs, doesn't want to treat her right yet. He wants her back in his life. Was it a delusion, or was it an impossible wish? Maybe It could be both. As for when he would realize it, only time can answer it. Mara and Leo forgot about Lucian's existence and continued their stroll. Their stroll was punctuated by easy conversation and laughter, a lightness in the air that Mara hadn't felt in a long time. It was during one of these moments, amidst the city's soft evening lights, that Leo posed a question that caught Mara off guard. "Mara thought about what I said," he asked, his voice tinged with a mixture of hope and uncertainty. His eyes searched hers for a reaction, revealing his vulnerability. He wanted her to be with him, but he wouldn't force her to be with him. Leo will respect whatever decision she makes. After all, she was a grown woman. They never met before this day. If she said no, she must have her own difficulties. By forcing her to be with him was equal to adding more difficulties in her life. Leo was not the kind of person who would force a woman to be with him just because he loved her. His parents taught him women are a part of the moon goddess's soul. Treating a woman right was equal to treating the moon goddess right. To Leo, every woman was a goddess. And Mara was one too. Mara, taken aback, opened her mouth to respond. But Leo, perhaps sensing her surprise, quickly added, "Think about it and tell me after I drop you off." He offered her a small, hopeful smile, and Mara, still processing his words, simply nodded. They resumed their evening, deciding to share a meal at a nearby restaurant. As they sat at a table by the glass door, Mara found herself contemplating Leo's proposal. It was then that Ruby, her inner voice, chimed in with a sense of positivity. "He seems like a good guy, Mara. You should give it a chance," Ruby suggested, her tone encouraging. Mara pondered over Ruby's words, weighing the idea of seeing Leo in a different light. "He is. But we couldn't accept him. Remember, we have to take care of our child. He may treat our child as his own, but we don't know about others. If his existence is known to the world, it would cause disturbances. I don't want to take risk about my child's safety," Mara said to her wolf. Ruby said nothing in return. True, Mara was right. She doesn't want to put her child in danger too. She did once. There shouldn't be a second time. Meanwhile, unbeknownst to Mara, Lucian watched the scene unfold. Standing in the shadows, his eyes were fixed on the two figures visible through the glass door. His expression was unreadable, but the turmoil he felt was evident in his stance. Inside Lucian, his wolf, Emerald, was restless, voicing his discontent with the situation. "You are letting her slip away. Lucian, she is meant to be with you, not someone else," Emerald growled, his tone laced with frustration and a sense of urgency. Lucian, though outwardly calm, felt a tightening in his chest as he observed Mara with Leo. Emerald's words echoed in his mind, amplifying the sense of unease that had been growing within him. Lucian could see that Mara enjoyed her time, her laughter mingling with Leo's in a symphony of newfound possibility. The evening, once a charade, was now painting a picture of potential beginnings. Yet, the figure of Lucian, watching from a distance, remained a silent testament to the complexities of her heart, a heart torn between what was and what could be. "It's getting cold. We should head back," Leo said, seeing shivering Mara. Mara nodded her head at him. Leo took his jacket out and draped it around her shoulders. "Thanks," Mara smiled at him. With that, they both entered Leo's car and headed back to Mara's place. In the afterglow of their shared dinner and laughter, Leo and Mara strolled towards the villa, the night air carrying the echoes of their delightful evening. The celestial canvas above adorned itself with stars, casting a gentle glow on the earth and blessing people with its warm glow. The car ride was smooth. The silence was not stifling, but instead, it was comforting. Leo has that aura that makes others feel at peace and comfortable. Soon, they reached Mara's villa. Leo stopped the car in front of Mara's villa. Leo, wearing a sincere smile, accompanied Mara to the villa's door, a moment heavy with unspoken emotions. "This evening was truly special, Mara. I appreciate your company for dinner." Leo said. The pleasure was all mine, Leo. The food was exquisite, and your companionship made it even more enjoyable. Mara said it with a smile. Her eyes were shining inexplicably. As they reached the entrance, Leo, pausing for a moment, shared a sentiment infused with a touch of hesitation. Scylla, before we part ways, there is something I've been meaning to discuss, Leo said. Leo wanted to know her answer. He didn't force her to answer him earlier for fear of ruining the date. Be it fake or real, it's still a date to him. He wants her to spend time with him without feeling any regret or guilt. Now they were at her villa. He was dying to hear her answer. How could he miss an opportunity to be with her and know her answer? He wanted to hear her answer. Certainly, Leo. What is on your mind? Is it about what you asked me to think about? Mara asked. She could say that he was nervous and being jittery about something. Apart from her answer to his confession, there was nothing else that could make him like this. And she was right. He was indeed thinking about it. Leo looked at her with a raised brow. He smiled a little before opening his mouth. Since you have guessed it, I will tell you again. Well, Mara, I've cherished our time together tonight, and I can't help but wonder if you'd be open to going out with me. I would treat you well and never let you experience any hardship. Please be with me. If you can't, it's okay too. Leo answered her. Mara, caught off guard by the directness, responded with a warm smile. Mara was stunned for a second. She knew he was the kind of person who would treat a woman right. From the time she spent with him, she could say that much about him. But the way he put it made her heart flutter for a bit. She quickly recovered her expression in front of him before responding. Leo, your candor is refreshing. You are a wonderful person, but I must be honest. I am not actively seeking a romantic connection right now. I had a heartbreak. I am not accepting another heart yet. Hope you understand. But I don't mean you are a bad person. You are a good person. In fact, a great person. You deserve someone better than me. Mara replied. Does that heartbreak related to Lucian? Leo asked with a calm expression. No matter how he tried to see, there was some ambiguity between Lucian and Mara. It's as if Lucian was chasing her, but Mara was running away from him. Mara looked at him with an amused expression on her face. She didn't expect him to ask this. Yes, Lucian was related to her heartbreak, but more than him, her son's death broke her heart further. The boy I loved is with Moon Goddess now, Mara said with a strained smile as she looked at the moon. Leo wasn't expecting that answer from her. Do you still love him? He asked. His voice was betraying him from answering her. I do. I will remember him till my last breath, Mara said. How could she forget? Her flesh and blood. Silas was her darling son. She would never forget him even if she had other children. He was special. He was that comfort that she had in her dark life. Leo said nothing. A silence blanketed around them under the moon's soft glow. Scylla, I will not say I will take his place, but I would not give up. I will love you in a way that you will not regret being with me. What do you say? Will you consider giving it a chance? Leo replied to her. Leo, our friendship is meaningful to me, and I think it is important to preserve that. I hope you understand, Mara said to him. I don't easily give up, Mara. I won't back down on this. I will keep trying till you understand my feelings for you, Leo said to her in his determined tone. Mara smiled at him. Don't be too stubborn, Leo. You might receive heartbreak. I don't want to see you heartbroken, Mara said with a sincere expression. Only time will tell whether I will receive a heartbreak or a heart. It's my decision to chase after you and win your affection, he said. Seeing him as persistent, Mara said nothing. I will go. It's getting cold, Mara said to him. Take care, he said. She returned his jacket to him before walking inside her villa. Leo watched till Mara entered her villa and turned on the lights before leaving the place. He stroked the jacket in his hands, which had the smell of Mara, and smiled. The night embraced them in tranquil serenity. It was a peaceful night for Mara. To Leo, it's a beautiful night. Leo looked at the moon as he walked towards the car, while Mara looked at the man from her window. She suddenly felt that the moon was beautiful. She looked at Leo's receding back and smiled. This guy was just a stubborn man, she thought before going back into her room. In the solitude of his dimly lit study, Lucian, known to himself as Mara and to the world as Scylla, grappled with a storm of conflicting emotions. The flickering candlelight cast dancing shadows across the room, mirroring the turbulence within him. He returned to his villa after Leo dropped Mara off at her villa and went. He was glad that Leo didn't stay back. Lucian was worried that he would stay back and become intimate with Mara. He doesn't know why, but that thought scared him. The realization that Scylla, the woman he once claimed to be his own, had ventured on a date with Leo ignited a fire of emotions in Lucian. He couldn't pinpoint the exact nature of these feelings: jealousy, regret, anger, or perhaps a fusion of them all. The walls of his study seemed to close in on him as he wrestled with the turmoil within. His eyes, usually piercing and confident, now reflected a vulnerability that he was unwilling to acknowledge. Lucian paced the room, his steps echoing the rhythmic beating of his heart, a heart entangled in the complexities of what was lost and what could be. "Why does it bother me so much?" he muttered to himself, his voice barely audible against the backdrop of his internal chaos. Lucian, a man of unwavering control, found himself unraveling in the face of emotions he couldn't dissect. He walked to the window and looked at the scene outside his window. But it's as if the scenes he saw earlier were being played in front of him, where Leo and Scylla had embarked on their evening, played over and over in his mind. Each shared laugh, every exchanged glance, fueled the fire burning within him. Lucian clenched his fists, the intensity of his conflicting emotions making it hard to breathe. Not to mention, Leo gave his coat to her to keep her warm. How could that man be so close to her? The memory of that boiled his blood. That son of Bibushich. He cursed him in his head. How could she do that? He thought. The picture of Mara being with another didn't sit well with Lucian. He hated it to his core. Lucian couldn't figure it out why he was feeling that way. His mate was Camilla. Why was he wavering now? The scent of a long-extinguished candle lingered in the room, a metaphor for the extinguished flame between Lucian and Scylla. He couldn't fathom why he felt this way. After all, he had chosen to let her go. But witnessing her with another ignited a tempest he couldn't control. Lucian, a man accustomed to dominance, was faced with the unfamiliar territory of vulnerability. He gritted his teeth, trying to rationalize his emotions. Yet, beneath the stoic facade, Lucian couldn't escape the gnawing ache in his chest. The silhouette of Scylla and Leo against the city lights haunted him, casting shadows of doubt on the decisions he had made. The night outside continued its serene course, oblivious to the internal tempest brewing within Lucian. In the quiet confines of his study, he remained a conflicted soul, grappling with emotions that refused to be tamed and a past that stubbornly clung to the recesses of his heart. He tried to connect with his wolf, but his wolf shut him off for the past hour. He felt helpless. The next day, Mara woke up and had her breakfast. When she opened her laptop to check the details, the camp about the women's pregnancies and the basic knowledge and the role of the family, parents, husband, and everyone was held in the pack. Mara was guiding her team to check the public response and their suggestions. When she was busy having a meet, she saw her mother calling her. Declining the call, she wrapped up her meeting and called her mother back. Mara, holding her phone tightly, settled into a plush armchair in her room. The soft glow of the lamp illuminated the space as she prepared to share the intricacies of her unexpected evening with Leo, with Laura, her confidant, and more importantly, her mother. As Laura's voice resonated through the phone, Mara couldn't help but feel a sense of comfort in the familiar warmth of her mother's words. "Mara, how was your evening with Leo? You seem surprised to see him." Mara sighed, her thoughts dancing with uncertainty. "It was unexpected, Mom. We had dinner, and Leo mentioned something about inheriting the alpha position from his father. Apparently, his father is the alpha of the Lethe pack, one of the more influential packs, Blood River Moon." Laura's tone became measured, recognizing the weight of Leo's revelation. "The Lethe pack is powerful, Mara. If Leo is about to inherit the alpha position, his visit to Lucian is more than just a casual encounter." Mara, eyebrows furrowed, echoed her mother's realization. "So he came here not just to reconnect with Lucian, but to seek support for his alpha inheritance." Laura confirmed, "Exactly. In our world, alliances are crucial, especially for someone ascending to an alpha position. Lucian, being the alpha of the Lethe pack, holds considerable sway. Leo's visit might be strategic, not just personal." Mara absorbed this information, contemplating the layers of politics that intertwined with her seemingly serendipitous meeting with Leo. But why involve Lucian? She wondered aloud. Laura, with the wisdom born of experience, explained, "The Lethe pack is respected for its influence and strength. If Leo secures Lucian's support, it could solidify his standing among other packs. Lucian's approval could be a pivotal factor in Leo's successful transition to the alpha role." Mara leaned back, a mix of emotions coursing through her. "So my evening with Leo wasn't just a reunion, it was a political maneuver." Laura's voice softened. "In our world, personal connections and political alliances often intertwine. Leo might genuinely care for you, but his visit likely serves a dual purpose." "I thought he was genuine," Mara commented. "The kid is genuine. His intention is genuine too. But he has another reason for his visit. Don't just dump him into the category of the men that you have seen all these days," Laura said. As Mara grappled with the implications, the intricate dance of supernatural politics took on a new significance. Mara hummed. "If you put it that way, then you also have to consider the fact that he almost ruined the support of Lucian for your sake." Laura pointed to her daughter. Mara fell into silence, hearing her mother's words. The weight of the supernatural politics unfolded before Mara, like a heavy tome, and a sudden surge of empathy for Leo flooded her. The realization that Leo's quarrel with Lucian at the school might jeopardize his chances of gaining the much-needed support gnawed at her conscience. Mara couldn't shake the feeling of responsibility, sensing that the unresolved tension might cast a shadow over Leo's strategic endeavors. As the gravity of the situation settled in, Mara decided she needed to take a step beyond mere observation. She felt a compelling need to mediate, to bridge the gap between Leo and Lucian, realizing the potential ramifications for both their personal connection and the larger political landscape. Determined, she turned to her confidante and mother Laura, recognizing the wisdom in seeking guidance. Dialing her mother's number, Mara anxiously waited for Laura to pick up. The gentle voice of her mother finally answered, bringing a sense of reassurance. "Mom, there is something I need to do," Mara began, her words carrying a mixture of concern and resolution. "I can't help but feel responsible for the tension between Leo and Lucian. If Leo's to gain support, they need to mend things." Laura listened attentively, sensing the weight in her daughter's words. "Mara, it is a delicate situation. Interfering in the dynamics between alphas isn't a small matter, but if you believe it is necessary, proceed with caution." Determined to facilitate a resolution, Mara swallowed her apprehension. "I need Leo's phone number. Mom, I want to talk to him, make things right." Laura sighed softly, recognizing the sincerity in Mara's plea. "Very well, sweetheart. I'll share Leo's number with you. But remember, tread carefully. These matters can be intricate, and emotions often run high." Grateful for her mother's understanding, Mara thanked Laura, the weight of responsibility mingling with a sense of determination, Along with Leo's number, she contemplated the upcoming conversation, hoping to navigate the delicate terrain of supernatural politics and personal connections with grace. After hanging up the call with her mother, Mara called Leo after some hesitation. She has to be responsible for what she did. Just because he helped her doesn't mean she should sit back and deal with the problems she created for him. She wasn't Camila to leave a man when he was in problems. Even though Leo was not her man, she treated him as her genuine potential friend. She called Leo and waited for him to pick up the call. Jian. On the other hand, the rhythmic tone of Leo's phone interrupted the silence in his room, and he picked up, not expecting the revelation that awaited him. As he greeted the unknown caller, a warm and familiar voice cut through the line, instantly sparking joy in his heart. "Hello?" Leo answered his phone. "It is Mara," came the response, and Leo's face lit up with genuine delight. He hadn't expected to hear from her so soon after their unexpected reunion. "Mara, hey, I wasn't expecting your call." "What is up?" Leo exclaimed, the happiness evident in his voice. Mara hesitated for a moment before diving into the reason for her call. "Leo, there is something I need to tell you about the person you had a quarrel with at school today." Leo's brow furrowed in mild confusion. "Yeah, what about it?" Taking a deep breath, Mara revealed, "I am worried about you. You messed up with the Lethe Pack's alpha." There was a momentary pause on Leo's end as the weight of Mara's revelations sunk in. Then, unexpectedly, a hearty laugh burst forth from him. The sheer absurdity of the situation, the irony of quarreling with an alpha without realizing it, struck him as amusing. The air hung heavy, with the weight of Mara's confusion, as she navigated the intricate nuances of Leo's unexpected reaction. His laughter, a seemingly paradoxical response to the revelation about Lucian's alpha status, left her grappling with a mix of emotions, perplexity, concern, and a touch of amusement at the irony of the situation. "Leo, I don't understand. Why are you laughing?" "This is a big problem," Mara voiced her perplexity, the genuine confusion evident in her tones. Leo, sensing the need for clarity, allowed his laughter to gradually subside, transitioning into a more serious demeanor. "Mara, it is not that I find it funny. It is just, I didn't expect to mess with a big shot today, especially when I was just trying to help you out casually." Lucian did look familiar, but I didn't even think of him as the alpha of the Lethe Pack. Mara's brow furrowed as she attempted to reconcile Leo's light-hearted response with the gravity of the situation. "So, you are not upset about this? Lucian is an influential alpha, and you had a quarrel with him." Leo's sigh carried a note of resignation, as if he had accepted the unexpected turn of events. "Mara, I don't see it as a problem. I mean, sure, it is unexpected, but I've never been one to back down from a challenge. Besides, I didn't help you with the intention of impressing a pack alpha. I helped you because I wanted to." Mara, touched by Leo's sincerity, felt a warmth blossoming within her chest. His genuine desire to assist her, devoid of ulterior motives, resonated with her on a profound level. "Leo, I appreciate your sincerity, but dealing with an alpha, especially one of Lucian's stature, can be complicated. There might be consequences." Mara, her thoughts swirling in the aftermath of Leo's revelation about the unexpected clash with Lucian, couldn't help but marvel at Leo's seemingly boundless optimism. Leo, she thought, was truly too big-hearted for his own good. The possibility of facing rejection from an alpha as influential as Lucian should have been a cause for concern. But Leo showed no signs of trepidation. "Leo," Mara began, her voice carrying a blend of admiration and concern, "you are facing the possibility of being rejected by Lucian, an alpha of great influence. Aren't you worried about the consequences?" Leo, with a calm demeanor that seemed almost indifferent to the potential challenges ahead, responded, "Mara, I've faced challenges before. Rejection or not, I'll deal with it. Besides, I didn't help you expecting anything in return if Lucian rejects me. So be it." Mara couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for Leo's unwavering support. Leo, you are incredibly big-hearted, but this is no small matter. Lucian holds significant sway in the supernatural world. Leo, flashing a reassuring smile, placed a hand on Mara's shoulder. Mara, it is okay. I've made up my mind. I'll visit Lucian tomorrow night and try to clear the air. If you feel guilty or responsible, you can accompany me, we'll face it together. Mara, touched by Leo's resilience and the sincerity in his offer, nodded appreciatively. Leo, you are truly something else. I just hope Lucian understands. Leo, his eyes reflecting a mixture of determination and a hint of playfulness, responded. Understanding or not, I'll give it a shot, and having you by my side will only make things better. As Leo's words hung in the air, Mara couldn't deny the sense of reassurance they brought. The prospect of accompanying him on this unexpected journey filled Mara with an apprehension. Mara's contemplative night was marked by a lingering sense of hesitation. The thought of accompanying Leo to face Lucian, as she mulled over the decision, the weight of the trouble she unintentionally caused for Leo, pressed on her conscience. In the quiet solitude of her room, Mara couldn't shake the nagging feeling that she needed to do something more for Leo. The sincerity in his actions, the genuine desire to help her without expecting anything in return, resonated deeply with her. It wasn't just about facing Lucian, it was about standing by Leo's side, acknowledging the challenges he willingly embraced for her sake. Amidst the deliberation, a sense of responsibility emerged. She couldn't let Leo face the potential rejection from Lucian alone, especially when she recognized the selfless nature of his intentions. It wasn't merely a matter of guilt or obligation. It was a choice born out of a growing connection, a bond forged in the crucible of unforeseen challenges. As dawn approached, Mara made a resolute decision. She would accompany Leo to meet Lucian tomorrow night. The uncertainty of what lay ahead mingled with a newfound determination. The journey they were about to embark on transcended the realm of supernatural politics. It was a testament to the strength of their connection and the willingness to navigate uncharted territories together. Fine, let's meet him, Mara said, and hung up the call. When she shared her decision with Leo, his eyes reflected gratitude and understanding as Mara and Leo prepared to visit Lucian the following night. However, what she hadn't anticipated was the potential trouble that might arise for Leo due to their clash. In the quiet moments leading up to their meeting with Lucian, Mara grappled with the weight of her awareness. The responsibility she felt towards Leo was twofold: acknowledging Lucian's alpha status and understanding the potential consequences of their meeting. It wasn't a matter of discovering Lucian's position. It was about safeguarding Leo from the complexities of supernatural politics. The day unfolded in contemplation, the air heavy with a blend of uncertainty and resolve. Mara wrestled with the conflicting emotions that tugged at her, each thought a brushstroke on the canvas of an intricate decision. Mara, guided by a sense of duty to shield Leo from unintended consequences, couldn't shake the internal conflict. While Lucian's alpha status was a known variable, the unforeseen clash with Leo added a layer of complexity she hadn't anticipated. As they stood on the threshold of Lucian's territory, Mara exchanged a glance with Leo, his eyes reflecting a blend of curiosity and determination. She realized that, despite the challenges they were about to face, Leo's steadfast spirit remained undaunted. The meeting with Lucian became a dance of diplomacy and emotions, each word carrying the weight of unspoken truths. Mara navigated the intricate balance between acknowledging Lucian's authority and ensuring Leo's well-being. In doing so, she sought to unravel the complexities that bound them together and the potential for understanding in the supernatural tapestry that defined their lives. Through the night, as conversations unfolded and tensions eased, Mara couldn't help but marvel at the resilience of their connections. In the face of alpha authority and unforeseen challenges, Leo's presence stood as a testament to the strength of genuine intentions and the willingness to face the unknown together. As they departed from Lucian's domain, Mara felt a sense of relief mingled with a newfound understanding. The anticipation of meeting Lucian once again stirred a palpable unease within Mara. The memory of their initial encounter, where Lucian had questioned her identity time and again, loomed like a shadow over her thoughts. The fear that he might once again probe into the secrets she guarded, potentially putting her in a precarious position, gnawed at her confidence. Even though she was Mara, not Scylla. Right now, she just wanted to steer clear away from him. As time passed with her unsettling thoughts and the air thickened with tension, Mara found herself grappling with the unsettling prospect of facing Lucian's scrutiny. The weight of her fears threatened to cast a shadow on the resolve she had mustered alongside Leo. In that moment of uncertainty, Ruby, her loyal wolf companion, sensed Mara's apprehension and initiated a connection through their mind link. Ruby's voice echoed in Mara's mind, a comforting presence amidst the tumult of her thoughts. Mara, fear is but a shadow. Lucian may test you, but you have the strength to face it. Don't let your fears dictate your actions. Mara, acknowledging the wisdom in Ruby's words, responded through their mind link. Ruby, I am scared he'll dig into my past, question my identity again. What if he puts me in a difficult spot? Ruby's voice, a steady reassurance, echoed, Mara, you are more than your fears. Lucian's tests are a reflection of his own uncertainties. Stand firm, for your identity is yours to safeguard. You need not fear the shadows of your past. It's not easy, Ruby, Mara said, but Leo is in trouble because he helped us. He kept following the whole night when you went on a date with Leo. Definitely. Lucian will take it on Leo, Ruby replied, hitting Mara's weak spot. Mara felt helpless hearing it. True. Do you want him to suffer because of you? Ruby continued questioning Mara. No, he is a good man. He deserves that position, Mara replied. Then, you should meet him and help Leo, Ruby told her. I should, but... Mara hesitated. Don't worry. Since he thinks Leo is your fiancé, then he wouldn't mess with you easily. And also he has to think about the pack more than his personal grudges. He is not that unreasonable in terms of pact, Ruby said to her. Mara nodded at her. Yes, more than his family pack is more important to Lucian, but she can't say that if it's true if one forces him to pick Camila or his pack. With Ruby's words, Mara felt confident. The connection with her wolf was a source of unwavering support, a reminder that she was not alone in facing the challenges ahead. As the time to meet Lucian approached, Mara's stance shifted from trepidation to determination. She would not fear Lucian anymore. The noon sun hung high in the cloudless sky, casting its brilliant rays over the landscape below. Its radiant warmth blanketed the surroundings, creating a vivid tapestry of light and shadow. The sunlight, at its zenith, painted everything in a golden hue, accentuating the vibrant colors of nature. As the sun beamed down, it brought to life the myriad shades of green in the leaves of trees and the blades of grass. The noonday brilliance highlighted the intricate details of flowers, casting delicate shadows that danced in the gentle breeze. The world seemed to shimmer with a luminous energy, a stark contrast to the cool, muted tones of the early morning or late afternoon. The midday sun cast a warm glow on the werewolf territory as Mara and Leo approached the pack house. The air was filled with the savory sense of lunch being prepared, creating an atmosphere that contrasted with the usual nocturnal activities of werewolf packs. As they neared the entrance, Mara noticed a werewolf warrior standing guard, his posture tense as if bracing for an unexpected encounter. Despite the bustling lunchtime activities, the werewolf warrior, entrusted with the protection of the pack house, couldn't conceal the flicker of recognition in his eyes upon seeing Mara. His attempts to avoid direct eye contact were evident, but Mara, attuned to the nuances of body language, caught glimpses of his gaze subtly drifting in her direction. The werewolf warrior, though maintaining a fade of indifference, couldn't completely resist the intrigue that Mara's presence stirred within him. His glances betrayed a curiosity that went beyond the usual vigilance, as if there was a connection or a puzzle he couldn't quite unravel. Mara, accompanied by Leo, carried herself with a quiet confidence that seemed to command attention. The werewolf warrior, torn between his duty and an unspoken acknowledgement, found himself stealing a few glances, despite his efforts to remain stoic. Leo, sensing the undercurrents, exchanged a subtle glance with Mara. The werewolf warrior's furtive glances were becoming more pronounced. An unspoken acknowledgement that Mara's presence held a significance that went beyond the ordinary. As they approached the entrance, Mara met the werewolf warrior's gaze directly, offering a nod that conveyed both acknowledgement and assurance. The lunchtime activities continued around them. But in that brief exchange, a silent understanding passed between Mara and the wary guardian of the pack house. The werewolf warrior, though still guarded, seemed to relent under Mara's unwavering gaze. The complexities of her identity and the reactions it triggered were woven into the tapestry, creating an atmosphere of intrigue and unspoken mysteries that lingered in the air. Mara approached the pack house with a mix of nostalgia and trepidation. It was the first time she had returned since her accident, and the familiarity of the surroundings struck her profoundly. The exterior, bathed in the noonday sun, looked unchanged, as if time had paused since her last visit. The pack house stood with a timeless solidity, its architecture a blend of natural elements and carefully crafted structures. Vines adorned the sides, intertwining with the walls in a display of nature's embrace. The scent of familiar flora lingered in the air, a fragrant reminder of the countless times she had walked through these grounds. As Mara entered the pack house, the memories flooded back. The polished wooden floors echoed beneath her steps, each creak and murmur telling tales of the past. The walls, adorned with intricate paintings and symbols, bore witness to the rich history of the werewolf pack. As Mara ventured deeper into the pack house, she found herself entering the hall she once adorned with her artistic touch. The memories of the past flooded back, and as she surveyed the space, she couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction and nostalgia at the sight of her previous efforts. The walls, once blank canvases, now bore the fruits of Mara's creative endeavors. Paintings adorned the hall, each stroke of the brush capturing moments of nature, werewolf symbolism, and the vibrant hues of the supernatural world. The canvases were positioned thoughtfully, creating a harmonious flow that told a visual story as one traversed the hall. Potted plants, their leaves reaching toward the sunlight streaming through the windows, added a touch of life to the space. The greenery created a refreshing contrast against the painted canvases, bringing a slice of the outdoors into the hall. Mara's careful selection of plants showcased her appreciation for the intricate balance between nature and art. The furnishings in the hall, from the couch cushions to the ornate details of the furniture, remained unchanged. The colors she had chosen in the past still adorned the cushions, their vibrancy standing the test of time. The furniture, polished and well-maintained, carried the imprints of countless moments shared within the pack house. As Mara moved further into the hall, she noted with a discerning eye that the place had been meticulously cared for. The paintings retained their original brilliance, and the potted plants thrived under the care they received. It was evident that the werewolf pack had respected and preserved the essence of Mara's decorative efforts without compromising its integrity. The air in the hall carried a subtle fragrance, a blend of paint, greenery, and the faint traces of memories. It was a testament to the resilience of the space and its ability to hold on to the echoes of the past. Mara couldn't help but smile at the realization that despite the changes that may have occurred in her absence, the hall stood as a living gallery of both artistic expression and shared experiences. The parlor dining room, a space steeped in significance, unfolded before her. The double doors opened into a room adorned with elegant furnishings that spoke of both opulence and functionality. Rich, dark wood framed the large windows, allowing the noon sunlight to filter through in a warm cascade. A grand dining table, polished to a gleaming finish, dominated the center of the room, It bore the scars of shared meals and lively conversations, a testament to the gatherings that once took place here. The chairs, adorned with plush cushions, stood as sentinels around the table, each one carrying the weight of untold stories. The walls of the parlor dining room were adorned with tapestries and paintings depicting the werewolf pack's lineage and notable events. The room exuded a sense of history where the past seamlessly intertwined with the present. A chandelier, hanging from the ceiling, like a crystalline constellation, added a touch of elegance to the space. The atmosphere in the parlor dining room was both inviting and solemn, as if the echoes of conversations past lingered in the air. Mara, despite the emotional weight of her return, found solace in the familiarity of the space. It was a silent reassurance that, even after her absence, the essence of the pack house remained steadfast, preserving the memories that shaped her journey within its walls. Her precious memories with her son lingered in this space. As Mara walked through the familiar halls of the house, each room seemed to echo with the laughter and joy of shared moments. One memory, in particular, stood out like a vibrant painting in the gallery of her mind. The playful time spent with her son. The recollection unfolded with the vividness of a cherished photograph. Mara, attempting to feed Silas, found herself engaged in a playful game of hide and seek. Silas, mischievous and full of childlike glee, darted under a table, his giggles echoing through the room. Mara searched tirelessly for her hiding son. Her search continued until her strength waned, and Silas remained elusive, reveling in the joy of the chase. His giggles became the soundtrack to Mara's pursuit, a melody that echoed with the innocence of childhood. In the midst of her search, Silas's laughter reached a crescendo, drawing Mara to the spot where he had cleverly hidden. With a triumphant smile, she found him and scooped him up in her arms, declaring the end of the game with a simple "found you." Silas, his pout a testament to his desire for more playtime, expressed his expectation with a playful complaint. "I want to play for some more time," he pouted. Mara, in a moment of stern yet loving authority, insisted that he eat first before indulging in further play. "Eat first, then play," Mara said to him. "Mom," he complained. "Food first," she said with her raised brows. As the memory played out in Mara's mind, a wave of sadness enveloped her. The poignant sweetness of those moments, now tinged with the ache of absence, weighed heavily on her heart. It was a reminder of the irreplaceable bond she shared with Silas and the profound loss that accompanied their separation. Ruby, Mara's loyal wolf and confidante, sensed the surge of emotions within her. With a comforting presence, Ruby connected through their unique mind link. Words unsaid passed between them, and the gentle reassurance from her wolf offered solace in the face of bittersweet memories. "Mara, don't worry. After today, we will not have no chance of meeting him or coming here. Silas won't be happy if he sees you being sad for him time and again," Ruby said. The memories, though laced with sadness, became a proof to the enduring bond between a mother and her son. Mara closed her eyes and took a deep breath and controlled her emotions. Opening her eyes, she looked around only to find a handicraft that she made in the past hanging on the wall. The sight of the handcrafted piece hanging on the wall stirred a bitter undercurrent within Mara. This intricate creation, once a labor of love and creative expression, now bore the weight of a painful memory. The memories of Lucian's disdainful comments echoed in her mind, casting a shadow over the once vibrant artwork. "Why do you waste time on useless things? That's disgusting. I wish you spent time on something productive. Rather than making them, you better spend time on how to become a perfect Luna." These were the comments of Lucian. As she remembered them, Mara felt bitter in her heart. In the past, when Mara had poured her passion into crafting the piece, she created that craft in an attempt to show how much she loved him. It's been years since she hung it, till today he was yet to see the mystery behind the handicraft. How ironic. He really never cared about her. The memory of him criticizing her for indulging in what he considered useless endeavors, rather than focusing on what he deemed practical, still lingered, tainting the beauty of the handcrafted piece. As Mara stood before the artwork, the bitterness of that past encounter seeped into the present moment. The vibrant colors and intricate details now seemed to reflect not only her creativity, but also the wounds inflicted by judgment and misunderstanding. The piece had become a visual reminder of a time when her artistic spirit had been met with rejection, rather than acceptance and appreciation. The bitterness within Mara intensified as she considered the persistence of the handcrafted piece on the wall. Its presence, untouched and unmoved, symbolized the lingering impact of Lucian's disapproval. The conflict between her desire for creative expression and the weight of external criticism hung in the air, creating a palpable tension. Yet, even in the bitterness, there was a quiet strength emerging within Mara, the handcrafted piece, while a bitter reminder also became a symbol of resilience. It stood as a testament to her ability to endure judgment and continue forging her creative path. The bitterness was now interwoven with a quiet determination to reclaim and embrace her artistic identity. Despite the scars left by past disapproval, "It's beautiful, isn't it?" Leo asked Mara as he looked at her, looking at the art craft for a while. "Really?" Mara questioned. "It is," Leo said. "What do you think about it?" Mara asked. "It looks like a handicraft of someone. I would love it if someone gifts that to me too. It's so pleasing to the eye." "The maker must be someone with a great sense," Leo said, looking at it. Mara doesn't know why, but seeing the difference of response between Lucian and Leo made her realize that people appreciate things because they genuinely love them. But some disdains them just because they hate the creator. Maybe it's not the handicraft that Lucian hated but her. So, everything she made or did are hated by default. The internal struggle within Mara persisted, a complex web of emotions entangled with the memories of Lucian. Despite her attempts to convince herself that she had moved on, a lingering thread of connection still tugged at her heart. The history they shared, the moments of intimacy and shared challenges, formed an indelible imprint on her emotions. However, as Mara delved into the recesses of her thoughts, a chill enveloped her when the more recent memories resurfaced. The stark contrast between the moments of vulnerability and Lucian's intimacy with Camilla during a time of strife etched a cold reality in her mind. The recollection of Lucian's actions during a critical juncture, when she and her son fought against the threat of death, served as a stark reminder of the choices he had made. Their shared history and the stark betrayal of intimacy with Camilla created a dissonance within Mara. The warmth of the past clashed with the icy realization of Lucian's actions in a moment of crisis. The wounds of that betrayal ran deep, casting a shadow over any residual affection she might have harbored. The unease stirred within Mara, especially in the presence of Camilla. The reminder of Lucian's intimate connection with another during a time of vulnerability acted as a barrier, preventing complete emotional detachment. The discomfort lingered, a testament to the intricacies of healing from emotional wounds. Till today, she couldn't forget how Lucian and Camilla drove her son to death. Such a vicious couple, she thought. As Mara and Leo awaited Lucian and Camilla's arrival, they continued to look around. The subdued lighting and ambient chatter provided a backdrop to the unfolding scene. A short while later, Lucian entered the restaurant. But to the surprise of everyone, Camilla was conspicuously absent. As Mara observed the scene unfolding in the dining hall, a perplexing question lingered in her mind. The absence of Camilla, especially given their history of rivalry and tension, struck her as unusual. Memories of Camilla treating her as a love rival, seizing every opportunity to assert dominance and create discomfort, flashed through Mara's thoughts. In any previous encounter, Camilla wouldn't have missed a chance to make a dramatic entrance, assert her presence, and cast Mara in an uncomfortable light. The history between them had been marked by subtle battles and unspoken competition, and Camila had relished the opportunity to showcase her perceived superiority. However, as Mara scanned the restaurant, there was a conspicuous void where Camila's presence should have been. The puzzle of her absence lingered, and Mara found herself wondering about the reasons behind it. Was it a deliberate choice on Camila's part? Or was there an unexpected twist in the narrative? The absence of Camila introduced an element of uncertainty into the atmosphere. The question echoed in Mara's mind, leaving room for speculation about the motives behind Camila's decision to stay away. Lucien's gaze met Mara's, and an unknown tension passed between them. They remained calm, their expressions revealing little about the underlying complexities of their history. It was a moment suspended in time, a tableau of emotions restrained beneath a veneer of composure. While Lucien and Mara maintained an outward composure, the mystery of Camila's absence added an intriguing layer to the unfolding dynamics. Leo, still an unknown observer, sensed the unspoken tension, but remained unaware of the nuances surrounding Camila's conspicuous no-show. To the others, it seemed like a routine meeting, but the dynamic shifted when Lucien's father accompanied him. As their eyes met, Lucien's father froze in place, an unexpected reaction that rippled through the ambiance. His pause was a fraction of a second, but it spoke volumes: recognition, surprise, and perhaps a hint of unresolved emotions. In that frozen moment, the unspoken history between Mara and Lucien's family became palpable. It was as if the air had thickened with the weight of untold stories and unresolved connections. Lucien and Mara, however, maintained a facade of calmness, exchanging glances that hinted at a shared history understood only by them. The enigma deepened for Leo, the unknown figure caught in the midst of this unspoken narrative. Observing Lucien's father's reaction and the composed demeanor of Mara and Lucien, Leo found himself at the periphery of a complex dynamic. The puzzle pieces of their intertwined past seemed to hover just beyond his grasp, leaving him in a state of mild bewilderment. As Lucien and Mara extended polite greetings, the tension diffused subtly. The restaurant, oblivious to the undercurrents of personal history, continued with its muted symphony of clinking glasses and hushed conversations. Lucien's father, after the initial pause, composed himself, offering a reserved nod in acknowledgement. Mara felt that the introductions hung in the air, creating a momentary pause that carried the weight of unspoken histories. Mara, poised and composed, took the initiative to break the silence. "I am Mara, daughter of the Glitter Pack Alpha Scylla," she stated, her words carrying a blend of formality and acknowledgement of her lineage. The title of Alpha held a certain gravity, and it resonated in the quiet space between them. Leo, standing by her side, added his introduction with a touch of sincerity. "And I am Leo, and Mara is my fiancée." The declaration of their relationship status added a layer of connection, subtly shifting the dynamics in the room. The moment after the introductions held a pregnant pause, as if the room itself were taking a collective breath. As Mara and Leo stood there, introducing themselves amidst the hushed atmosphere of the restaurant, the weight of their words seemed to hang in the air. Mara's self-presentation carried the authority that came with being the daughter of an alpha, a position that held both respect and scrutiny in the world of werewolves. Leo's declaration of their engagement added a layer of personal connection, intertwining their lives in a way that would inevitably draw attention. The significance of the introductions didn't escape Lucien's father, who, after a momentary pause, seemed to collect himself. The mention of Mara's lineage and the acknowledgement of her relationship with Leo carried implications that stretched beyond the present moment. The air, charged with unspoken tensions, hung in anticipation of Lucien's father's response. Lucien's father, initially caught off guard by Mara's lineage and Leo's announcement, took a moment to process the implications of these revelations. His demeanor, momentarily frozen, hinted at a complex internal dialogue playing out beneath the surface. Mara, with a graceful poise that masked the potential turbulence within, awaited Lucian's father's response. The unspoken tensions lingered, and the restaurant, with its subdued lighting and discreet conversations, became a stage for a reunion fraught with layers of history and familial ties. After a brief moment of contemplation, Lucian's father gestured for them to take their seats. Leo helped Mara into her seat. Lucian's father noticed how Leo was tending to her gentlemanly. He looked at Mara's gentle and genuine smile she gave to Leo. Suddenly, he remembered how her son treated his deceased daughter-in-law. He was never this careful. Mara sat carefully. She didn't let anyone notice how she held her stomach protectively after she sat down. Frederick Knight, Lucian's father, averted his gaze from them. He looked at them with a questioning gaze as if he wanted to know why they were there. Mara nudged Leo to tell them his motive for his trip. Leo, understanding her motive, smiled at her and nodded before starting the conversation. The conversation flowed around the table, weaving a tapestry of shared stories and unspoken tensions. Leo, sensing the need to clarify his presence, spoke with a genuine sincerity that sought to dispel any lingering uncertainties. The atmosphere in the restaurant remained layered with unspoken complexities as Leo shared his purpose for the visit. His words held a mix of sincerity and determination, aiming to bridge the gap between the past and the present. Mr. Frederick, I came here to discuss the future of our packs and to seek your support. My father has decided to pass on the leadership to me. I am inheriting the position of the Alpha. I believe in fostering strong alliances between packs and Lethe Pack. Being one of the most influential holds a crucial place in that vision. I wanted to personally extend my hand in friendship and collaboration. Frederick, his eyes reflecting a combination of understanding and nostalgia. Frederick, leaning back slightly in his chair, listened attentively. The weight of alpha responsibilities and the nuances of werewolf politics hung in the air. Leo, I appreciate your candor. Your father and I shared some memorable times, and it warms my heart to see the next generation continuing the legacy. As Leo and Frederick engaged in a pleasant exchange, Mara and Lucian found themselves sitting in a palpable silence. The shared history, unspoken emotions, and the complexities of their past relationship seemed to cast a subtle veil over the space between them. Frederick, sensing the need to ease the tension, directed the maid to bring forth the appetizers. Let's not let this wonderful evening be overshadowed by formality. Maria, please bring the appetizers. I believe good food has a way of bringing people together. The arrival of appetizers marked a shift in the atmosphere, providing a welcome diversion. However, the nuanced dynamics between Mara and Lucian persisted. The arrival of appetizers marked a shift in the atmosphere, providing a welcome diversion. However, the nuanced dynamics between Mara and Lucian persisted. As the table filled with the aroma of delicacies, Frederick directed the dialogue toward more casual topics. Leo, aside from pack matters, tell me about your interests and aspirations. It is not every day we get to host the heir of a pack. The table was adorned with an array of appetizers, each dish tempting the palate with its rich aroma and vibrant colors. However, as Mara's eyes scanned the offerings, a subtle tension crept into her expression. Only she and Lucian shared the knowledge of her newfound allergy, a condition that had emerged during her pregnancy. With Silas, Mara, who is allergic to a particular type of food, is faced with a dilemma during a meal. This allergy developed after her pregnancy with Silas, a fact known only to her and Lucian. As the scene unfolds, Mara sits at a beautifully set dining table, her eyes locked on the appetizer plate in front of her. The plate is filled with an assortment of delicacies, one of which she is allergic to. The colors and textures of the food are vivid and inviting, yet there is a noticeable tension in Mara's posture. She is dressed elegantly for the occasion, perhaps in a soft flowing dress that complements the formal setting. Her expression is a mix of disappointment and worry. with her hands hesitantly hovering over the silverware, unable to make a move towards the food. Her fork, held delicately, trembles slightly, betraying her inner turmoil. Across the table, Leo, unaware of Mara's allergy, looks at her with a mixture of concern and confusion. He leans forward, his brow furrowed, as he asks what is wrong. His gesture is one of genuine concern, yet it only adds to the pressure Mara feels. The critical moment comes when Mara lifts her gaze from the plate and finds Lucian's eyes. In the grand dining hall, the chandeliers cast a soft glow over them. The laughter and chatter belonged to Leo and Frederick, creating a vibrant tapestry of sound. Mara, elegantly dressed, sits poised at the table, her expression a well-crafted mask of ease. As Mara gazes at the dish before her, laden with food she cannot touch, a silent conversation begins between her and Ruby, hidden beneath the facade of normalcy. "Ruby, I can't believe Lucian would stoop to this, serving me something I am allergic to. It is both cruel and reckless," Mara said, with anger and frustration. "I agree. It is a dangerous game he is playing, but why? What is he trying to prove?" Ruby replied. Even Ruby was angered now. Mara's eyes flicker momentarily towards Lucian, who is engaged in lively conversation at the other end of the table, seemingly oblivious to the turmoil he has caused. It is a test or a trap. He has always enjoyed these twisted power plays, but I won't give him the satisfaction of seeing me falter. I thought he gave up, but he didn't. At this point, I doubt he wants to kill me, Mara said angrily. "You must be careful, Mara. We don't know what else he might be planning," Ruby said with concern to her. Mara gently pushes the plate away, making sure her movements go unnoticed. Her face remains serene, but her eyes are pools of stormy resolve. "I'll play his game for now, but at the first sign of danger we act. I won't let his machinations threaten me," Mara said angrily. "I am with you, every step of the way. We've faced worse than Lucian's schemes. Just give me the signal, and I'll be ready. Let's shift and rip him apart," Ruby said with determination. Even though Ruby was weak, she won't let her go to the point of dying. She will shift if needed. As their silent exchange ends, Mara returns her attention to the conversation at the table, her laughter light and unforced. In the dining hall, the atmosphere is thick with unspoken tension. The grand room, usually resonant with the echoes of laughter and conversation, now feels oppressively silent. Mara, Lucian, Leo, and Frederick are the only ones present, each lost in their own thoughts. A stark contrast to the earlier liveliness. Leo and Frederick, immersed in their own conversation. Mara sits at one end of the long dining table, her posture rigid, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. The remnants of the meal lay forgotten before her, the plates and silverware a mere backdrop to the turmoil unfolding within her. Her eyes, once sparkling with life, now hold a dullness, a reflection of her inner desolation. Lucian, at the opposite end, seems oblivious to her distress, or perhaps chooses to ignore it. His demeanor is one of casual indifference, a stark contrast to the storm raging in Mara's heart. Leo and Frederick, caught in the middle of this silent battle, exchange uneasy glances, their discomfort palpable. They sense the tension, the undercurrents of something amiss, but are powerless to intervene. Mara's mind is a whirlwind of emotions. Disappointment gnaws at her, bitter and unrelenting. She had always known Lucian was ambitious, maybe even ruthless, but she never imagined he would stoop to such lows. The realization that he could endanger her so callously and so heartlessly is a betrayal that stings with a pain she can hardly bear. It is not just the act itself but what it signifies, the final crumbling of any faculty of decency or care he might have once possessed. Her heart feels like it has been shattered into 1,000 pieces, each shard a reminder of her misplaced trust and faith in Lucian. She recalls the moments they shared, the conversations, the dreams ID, now all tainted by the reality of his actions. The heartbreak is not just for herself, but for the loss of what Lucian once represented to her. a beacon of hope now extinguished. Mara's face is a mask of composed sorrow, her eyes occasionally flickering towards Lucian with a mix of sadness and disbelief. She struggles to reconcile the man she thought she knew with the stranger sitting before her. Around them, the dining hall feels like a stage set for a tragedy, the ornate decorations and fine china serving as silent witnesses to the demise of a relationship of trust and of respect. The air is heavy with the weight of unspoken words, of emotions held back, of truths too painful to voice. "What's wrong, Scylla? Are you okay?" Leo asks her. Mara lifts her eyes and looks at Lucian. In the dimly lit elegance of the dining hall, a subtle yet palpable tension hangs in the air, as Mara's suspicion transforms into a stark realization. The beautifully arranged appetizers, a visual feast under any other circumstance, now appear as a carefully laid trap by Lucian. The specific placement of dishes containing the allergens she developed a sensitivity to post-pregnancy is too precise to be coincidental. This isn't just a casual oversight. It is a deliberate move, a test devised by Lucian. Mara feels a surge of emotions, a tumultuous blend of disappointment, betrayal, and a rising tide of anger. This act, seemingly aimed at confirming her true self, feels less like a test and more like a betrayal of the fragile remnants of trust between them. The unexpected betrayal of trust stung, leaving Mara grappling with emotions she hadn't anticipated. Lucian, across the table, remains unaware of the internal conflict raging within Mara. To him, the act of placing the allergenic dish was a necessary, albeit risky, method to confirm his suspicions about Mara's identity. In his mind, the end justified the means, even if it bordered on endangerment. His thoughts are already on the next step, planning to remove the dish as an unspoken acknowledgement of his conclusion that Mara is indeed Scylla. His intentions, although misguided, stem from a place of uncertainty and the need for confirmation, not malice. Mara, caught in the whirlwind of her emotions, gazes across at Lucian. Her eyes are a complex tapestry of hurt, disbelief, and a growing sense of defiance. She looked at Lucian, a mixture of disbelief and hurt in her eyes. She hadn't expected him to resort to such tactics, to put her through a trial that carried the potential for physical discomfort. She had not expected Lucian, of all people, to resort to such underhanded tactics. The realization that this was a test, one that risked her well-being, intensifies her turmoil. Amidst this emotional chaos, Mara's defiance takes over. Pushing aside the risks of an allergic reaction, she reaches for the fork with a determination fueled by anger and the need to confront Lucian's challenge. Her movements are deliberate, her expression hardening into one of resolute defiance. This is no longer about the allergens. It is about standing up to the challenge, about not letting Lucian's manipulations dictate her actions. As she consumes the dish, the room seems to hold its breath. The potential consequences of her action loom in the background. Mara, before coming here, was prepared to face Lucian as fiercely as she could, but now, it doesn't seem the case. This man was downright ruthless. Knowing the potential threat of taking a life, he still served. He was ruthless. She wondered how he did even become an alpha, with such vicious nature. What else she could expect from a murdered who killed his own child? Since he wanted her to eat it, she ate. She looked at his widened eyes. Was that guilt? UFF. This man would never be guilty and will never admit his wrong. He was a downright big narcissistic man. Mara even wondered if he ever felt guilty for what he did to her, her son, and now his act. Well, the answer was clear. He didn't. Not surprised. Right? He was such a man. He would never be guilty of anything he did because he was Lucian Knight, strongest alpha in the world. Mara looked at him with anger in her eyes. If looks could kill, he would have been killed by now. Emerald. Lucian's wolf stirred with discontent. A growl reverberated through the mental link they shared, a primal manifestation of the wolf's displeasure. Lucian, what in the moon's name are you doing? Deliberately placing allergenic food before her. Have you lost your senses? Emerald berated, the tone laced with frustration and urgency. Lucian, caught between the reality of the situation and the reprimands from his wolf, felt a tightening in his chest. I need to be sure, Emerald. I can't afford to make a mistake when it comes to her identity, Lucian explained, his voice carrying the weight of uncertainty. Emerald, however, was relentless in his admonishments. This is not the way, Lucian. You are hurting her, not testing her. Remove that dish before it is too late. In the tangible world, Lucian hesitated, torn between his desire for certainty and the realization that his actions were causing harm. He contemplated instructing someone to remove the allergenic dish, a concession to the warnings from his wolf. Meanwhile, Mara, fueled by a surge of anger and betrayal, glared at Lucian. The unspoken test hung in the air, a challenge she hadn't anticipated. Amid her frustration, she missed the internal conflict raging within Lucian and the fervent warnings from Emerald. Emerald's growl intensified, the urgency in his voice echoing through Lucian's mind. Lucian, she is about to eat it. Stop this madness. She may die because of it. Emerald looked at her with shock. Even Lucian looked at her in shock. As Mara consumed the allergenic dish in a moment of impulsive defiance, Ruby, her wolf, got angry. Why, Mara? Why did you do that? Ruby's voice, a lamentation, reverberated through the mind link, the emotional resonance piercing the air of defiance that had fueled Mara's actions. Caught off guard by Ruby's cry, Mara felt a pang of remorse. The gravity of her impulsive decision began to settle, and the weight of Ruby's disappointment added an extra layer of complexity to the already tumultuous emotions swirling within her. I didn't think, Ruby. I was angry, hurt, Mara responded, her own thoughts tinged with regret. The realization that she had jeopardized not only her own well-being, but also the safety of her child dawned on her, with a heavy sense of responsibility. Ruby's mental presence persisted, her distress palpable. What about our child? Have you forgotten about the child's safety? We can't afford to be reckless, especially with him in our lives. You need to be more mindful. Mara, you are pregnant for God's sake. The chastising tone in Ruby's thoughts cut through the emotional haze, serving as a stark reminder of the consequences of Mara's impulsive actions. The mental link, usually a source of solace and unity, now bore witness to the turbulence within. As the echoes of Ruby's cry lingered like a haunting melody, Mara, grappling with the weight of Ruby's admonishments, nodded inwardly. You are right, Ruby. I should have thought about Silas. I'll be more careful from now on, she promised, a solemn commitment to prioritize the safety of her child over impulsive reactions. 等于等于等于等于等于等于等于等于等于 Mara, having defiantly consumed the allergenic food, feels the first wave of her body's adverse reaction. Her eyes turn red due to allergy. She could feel goosebumps raising. Mara could feel the itch on her hands. She felt like scratching them, but she couldn't. She felt extremely uncomfortable. A growing discomfort builds within her, and the realization of the impending danger fuels her urgency to escape. She rises abruptly, her chair scraping against the ornate floor, and rushes towards the door, her breath quickening with each step. Outside, the cool night air greets her, but it brings no relief to the swelling panic and the physical symptoms rapidly manifesting. Her face, usually composed and serene, begins to betray signs of the allergic reaction. Redness, swelling, an alarming tightness that makes each breath a struggle. Lucian, witnessing her sudden departure, senses the gravity of the situation. Driven by a mix of concern and realization, he follows her into the night. Catching up to her, he reaches out, his hand gripping her arm with urgency. "Mara, you need medical attention," he pleads, his voice laced with a rare hint of desperation. Mara, caught between the physical agony of the reaction and the emotional turmoil of betrayal, whirls around to face him. "Stay away from me, Lucian!" She gasps, her voice a mix of pain and anger. "This is your doing. Your test. Your trap. Your madness. You wanted to kill me." Lucian, his expression a complex tapestry of concern and guilt, tries to reason with her. "I never meant for this to happen. I just needed to know the truth. Please let me help you." But Mara, her face contorted in pain and betrayal, pushes him away. "The truth. You risked my life for your truths. You are a monster." Her words are punctuated by labored breaths, each one more difficult than the last. Their argument escalates, words laced with pain and regret flying between them. In the midst of their heated exchange, Lucian's worst fears are confirmed. Thuvan Mara is indeed the woman he suspected her to be. But the realization comes too late. The damage is done, the trust irrevocably broken. As they argue, Mara's condition worsens. Her strength begins to falter, her body succumbing to the severe allergic reaction. Her words become slurred, her legs buckle, and she collapses into a heap on the ground. Lucian, panic-stricken, rushes to her side. "Mara," he cries out, his voice cracking with fear and remorse. But his calls go unanswered. Mara lies motionless, her breathing shallow, her face a mask of stillness. In this moment, Lucian is faced with a harrowing truth. The 7. His actions, driven by doubt and the need for confirmation, have led to a dire consequence, and the result was the cost of her life. He cradles Mara in his arms, her body limp and unresponsive, and a sense of profound loss washes over him. He realizes that in his quest to uncover her identity, he has pushed her away, perhaps forever. As the realization sinks in, Lucian calls for help, his voice echoing in the stillness of the night. The urgency of the situation is clear. Suvi. Mara needs immediate medical attention. But as she lies there unconscious and vulnerable, Lucian is left to grapple with the weight of his actions and the uncertainty of her fate. The sky, vast and indifferent, stretches above them, a silent witness to the unfolding tragedy. Under the watchful gaze of the stars, Lucian holds Mara, waiting for help to arrive, his heart heavy with regret and fear for the future. Lucian regretted doing this to her. If he could undo, he could. But there was no place for ifs in the world. He understood this now. The sterile white of the hospital room in the Lethe Pact territory serves as a stark contrast to the tumultuous events of the previous night. Mara's eyes flutter open, slowly adjusting to the soft, artificial light. The first figures she sees are Laura and Leo, their faces etched with deep concern and relief as they notice her stirring. Laura, Mara's mother, is seated close to the bed, her hand gently holding Mara's. Her eyes, brimming with worry, search Mara's face for any sign of discomfort or pain. Leo stands a bit farther back, his posture tense, reflecting the worry that has been consuming him. "Mara, thank God you are awake," Laura breathes out, a sigh of relief escaping her lips. "We were so worried. The doctors weren't sure when you would wake up." Mara's mind is a haze of fragmented memories from the night before. The argument with Lucian, the allergic reaction, the collapse of tea, it all floods back in disjointed flashes. She tries to speak, her voice a mere whisper. I can't stay here. I need to leave this place. End everything here." Leo steps forward, his expression one of concern mixed with confusion. "Mara, are you sure? You've just recovered. It might not be safe for you to leave just yet." But Mara's decision is firm, her resolve clear even through her weakened state. "No, Leo. I can't stay here any longer. There is nothing left for me in this place. I need to get away from everything. Laura's expression softens, a mother's instinct to protect her child overtaking her. She knows all too well the heartache and pain that Mara must be feeling. All right, my dear. We'll leave as soon as the doctors give the go-ahead. I'll take care of everything. Mara nods, a faint sense of relief washing over her. Despite the physical and emotional exhaustion, the thought of leaving, of putting distance between herself and the painful memories, brings a semblance of peace. Laura leans in, her voice gentle. You don't have to tell me what happened now, but when you are ready, I am here for you. We'll get through this together. Mara meets her mother's gaze, a silent thank you in her eyes. The bond between them, unspoken but deeply felt, is a source of strength for her in this moment of vulnerability. Leo, though still worried, nods in agreement. We'll support whatever decision you make, Mara. Just focus on getting better for now. The room is filled with a quiet understanding, a shared recognition of the pain Mara is going through and the journey of healing that lies ahead. Despite the sterility of the hospital surroundings, there is a warmth in the support and love emanating from Laura and Leo, a beacon of hope in Mara's troubled world. In the quiet confines of her recovery room, Mara wrestles with a storm of conflicting emotions. Every time her thoughts drift towards Lucian, a surge of anger and betrayal wells up inside her. The memories of his actions, hiding his deceit, the intentional placement of allergenic food, and the subsequent dangerous consequences are like a dark cloud overshadowing her attempts to find peace. However, amidst this emotional turmoil, Mara finds solace in the unwavering support of Laura and Leo. Their presence is a constant reminder that she is not alone in her struggles. Laura, with her maternal warmth and understanding, offers a shoulder for Mara to lean on. She listens, offers comfort, and provides the kind of unconditional support that only a mother can. Her gentle encouragement and patient demeanor play a crucial role in Mara's recovery. Leo, on the other hand, becomes a pillar of quiet strength for Mara. His concern for her well-being is evident, and he takes on the role of a protector, ensuring that Mara's recovery is as smooth and stress-free as possible. His presence is a steady force, offering reassurance and stability in a time when Mara's world seems to have turned upside down. In a strategic move to maintain peace and avoid further conflict, Leo makes the careful decision to inform only Laura and Susan about Mara's condition, deliberately keeping the rest of the Yulva family in the dark. He understands the delicate balance between the glitter and lethe packs and recognizes that disclosing the full extent of the situation could potentially escalate tensions, leading to a calamity between the two factions. This cautious approach underlines the complexity of pack politics and the intricate web of alliances and rivalries that exist. Leo's decision reflects his understanding of the potential for conflict and his commitment to safeguarding not just Mara's physical and emotional well-being, but also the fragile peace between the packs. As Mara gradually recovers, bolstered by the support of Laura and Leo, she begins to find her strength again. The journey is not easy. The emotional scars run deep, and the sense of betrayal lingers. Yet, in the safety and care of her closest confidants, Mara starts to heal, both physically and emotionally. Mara was glad that Leo only informed her mother and sister. If others in her family were to know she was hurt, they would wage a war without thinking. They missed Mara for years, and now Lucian almost killed. How could they accept this? Leo, who was a soon-to-be alpha, can understand the reaction of Mara's family members, so calculatedly called Laura and Susan. Mara thanked him for his thoughtfulness and thanked many times. Mara reflects on the precarious situation she narrowly avoided. Her appreciation for Leo's discretion is profound. She understands all too well the impulsive nature of her family members. The Werewolf family, fiercely protective and bound by deep familial ties, would not have hesitated to retaliate against the Lethe pack for the harm that came to her. Especially given their long-standing separation from Mara and the recent near-fatal incident involving Lucian. Mara, lying in her bed, turns to Leo, her eyes conveying a depth of gratitude words could scarcely express. Leo, I can't thank you enough for not telling the others. You know how they are. If they knew about this, about what Lucian did, it would have led to war, she says, her voice tinged with a mix of relief and solemnity. Leo, standing by the window with a contemplative gaze, turns towards her. I know, he responds, his voice steady. The last thing we need is a conflict between the packs. Your family's reaction would have been immediate and fierce. We need to handle this delicately. Mara nods in agreement, acutely aware of the volatile nature of pack politics and the potential for conflict. I am just glad you understand the gravity of the situation. It is not just about me. It is about maintaining peace, something that is fragile at the best of times. Leo walks over to her, taking a seat beside her bed. As a soon-to-be alpha, it is my responsibility to foresee these things. Your well-being is important to me, Mara, and so is the stability of our packs. This was the best course of action. Mara reaches out, placing her hand over Leo's. Thank you truly. It means a lot to me that you've considered all of this. You are going to make an excellent alpha, Leo. Several days have passed since the harrowing incident, and the time has come for Mara to return to the sanctuary of her home, the Glitter Pack. The hospital room, which had become a temporary refuge, now feels like a cage from which she is eager to be free. The walls, once a symbol of safety, now seem to close in on her, a constant reminder of the ordeal she endured. It's the night before Mara leaves the pack. The moon hung high in the night sky, casting a silvery glow over the expansive territory of the Lethe pack. Lucian, the alpha, stood on the precipice of the pack house, his gaze fixed on the distant horizon. The air was charged with an unspoken tension, a precursor to the impending departure of Mara from the pack. Within the depths of Lucian's mind, Emerald, his wolf, stirred with restlessness. A growl reverberated through their shared consciousness, a manifestation of the wolf's urgency. Lucian, you can't let her go like this. Go after her. There is still time, Emerald urged, his thoughts echoing through the alpha's mind with a sense of urgency. Lucian, though outwardly composed, felt the inner turmoil mirrored by his wolf. Emerald, she made her choice. I won't force her to stay against her will, Lucian responded, his voice carrying the weight of resignation. Emerald, however, refused to yield. This is not about forcing her. It is about not letting her slip away without a fight. You can't deny the connection between us. She is a part of this pack, a part of you. You can't let her leave without at least trying to make her stay. She is ours. The night breeze whispered through the air, carrying with it the echoes of Emerald's plea. Lucian's eyes, reflective pools in the moonlight, held a mixture of determination and conflict. Emerald, it is not that simple. There are things between us that can't be easily resolved. She needs space, time, Lucian explained, his gaze still fixed on the distant landscape. Emerald, undeterred, continued to press his alpha. Space and time won't mend what is broken. You can't let her believe that leaving is the only option. You owe it to yourself, to her, to at least try. A moment of contemplative silence hung in the air. Lucian's thoughts wrestled with the wisdom in Emerald's words. The complexities of their shared history, the misunderstandings that had woven a tapestry of pain, seemed insurmountable. Emerald, I don't want to push her away further by insisting. If leaving is what she needs, I have to respect that, Lucian stated, a note of resignation in his voice. The wolf within, however, refused to accept defeat. Respect her choice, but don't let her walk away thinking you didn't care enough to try. Go after her, Lucian. Tomorrow may be too late. As Lucian continued to gaze into the night, torn between the wisdom of restraint and the call of his wolf, the moon cast a luminescent glow over the landscape. A tableau of silent conflict and the unspoken complexities that defined the eve of Mara's departure from the Lethe Pack. Next day. In her final moments at the Lethe Pack Hospital, Mara shares a heartfelt goodbye with her sister. Susan came to meet her sister, who decided to leave the pack. Susan, whose academic pursuits have kept her tied to this place, wears a look of concern mixed with understanding. "Are you sure about this? Mara going back now?" she asks, her voice heavy with unspoken worries. Mara nods, her decision resolute. "I am Susan. I need to be back where I belong, where memories of him don't cloud every corner." She offers her sister a brave smile, but her eyes betray the sadness of parting. Susan embraces Mara tightly, whispering, "Take care of yourself. Okay, I'll be back with the family as soon as my course is done." The sisters hold on to each other, their bond a source of strength in a world that often feels too chaotic. As Laura and Mara prepare to leave, their departure is tinged with a sense of urgency and a desire for closure. Mara's bags are few, her belongings packed with a haste that underscores her need to distance herself from the Lethe Pack, and more specifically, from Lucian. Meanwhile, Lucian, upon hearing of Mara's impending departure, is caught in a tumult of emotions. His wolf, restless and agitated, urges him towards the pier, towards a final chance to see Mara. Deep down, Lucian realizes the truth that his heart had been denying. Who loves Mara? This revelation comes with a bitter taste of regret and desperation. Driven by this newfound acknowledgement, Lucian hurries towards the pier. His strides quick and determined, yet fate seems to conspire against him. Delays and obstacles slow him down, and with each passing moment, his chances of reaching Mara in time dwindle. Back at the pier, Mara stands beside Laura, her gaze lingering on the Lethe Pack territory one last time. It is a bittersweet moment, a mix of relief and sorrow. The place that had once promised new beginnings now holds memories she's eager to leave behind. She takes a deep breath, the air filling her lungs like a promise of a fresh start. As the vehicle starts, Mara takes one final glance back. Unknowingly, at the same moment, Lucian emerges, breathless and disheveled. But it is too late. The distance between them grows with each passing second, the physical space mirroring the emotional chasm that has formed. Lucian stands there, watching the vehicle disappear, his heart heavy with unspoken words and unrealized hopes. The realization that he has lost Mara, possibly forever, settles in like a weight he is unprepared to carry. In that moment, he understands the painful truth: sometimes love is not enough, and sometimes realizations come too late. The journey back to the Glitter Pack is quiet, filled with reflective silence. Mara looks ahead, her mind filled with thoughts of rebuilding, healing, and moving forward. Mara felt a relief as she left the place. 2.5 years later. 2.5 years have passed since the fateful day when Mara left the Lethe Pack, carrying with her the memories of Lucian and the complexities of their shared past. The passage of time has brought significant changes to their lives, each walking a path distinctly separate from the other. In the heart of the Glitter Pack territory, Mara has transformed into a figure of resilience and independence. She has taken the reins of managing a hotel, a role that she embraces with a blend of grace and efficiency. The hotel, with its serene ambiance and elegant decor, stands as a testament to her hard work and dedication. However, her most significant and joyous responsibility is her child, a beautiful, vibrant embodiment of her strength and love. Mara's life is a balance between her duties as a mother and a businesswoman. Her child, growing up in the nurturing environment of the pack, is a constant source of happiness and wonder for her. The laughter and innocent questions of her little one fill Mara's days with a lightness that she had once thought lost. Yet, beneath her contentment, there lies a faint shadow of what could have been, a lingering thought of the father who is absent from their lives. Meanwhile, Lucian, leading the Lethe pack, remains a figure marked by his past decisions and the love he lost. He has not mated with Camilla, a decision that speaks volumes of his lingering feelings for Mera. His days are consumed with the responsibilities of leading his pack. But in the quiet moments, his thoughts inevitably drift to Mera and the child he knows to be his. Lucian often finds himself wondering about his child Dove, what they look like, whether they have Mera's eyes or his smile. The knowledge that he has a child out there, growing up without him, is a source of both joy and profound regret. His decision to let Mera go, while made out of respect for her choices and well-being, haunts him with what-ifs. Despite his position and the respect he commands, Lucian's heart harbors a quiet sorrow, a sense of loss that time has not healed. He knows that his actions, driven by doubt and a need for control, ultimately led to his separation from Mera and their child. This realization brings him moments of deep introspection, wondering about the different paths he could have taken. Back in the glitter pack, Mera, while content with her life, sometimes catches herself pondering the what-could-have-beens with Lucian. She looks at her child and sees snippets of Lucian, a bittersweet reminder of a love that once held so much promise. However, she remains steadfast in her decision to raise her child alone, believing it to be the best path for both of them, given the circumstances. As the seasons change and her child grows, Mera finds strength in her independence and joy in her child's laughter. She has built a life for herself that is fulfilling and meaningful, yet the echoes of the past, of what she shared with Lucian, linger in the quiet corners of her heart. Mera's journey over the past 2.5 years has been nothing short of transformative. Her resilience and ability to adapt to changing circumstances have not only shaped her own life, but have also had a profound impact on those around her. In the glitter pack, she has become a symbol of strength and innovation, inspiring others with the changes she has brought to the pack and the successful management of the hotel. As Mera's reputation grows, so does the admiration and respect she garners from her peers. Her story, one of overcoming personal struggles and rising to a position of influence, resonates with many within the pack. She becomes a role model, especially for young women who see in her a reflection of their aspirations and potential. Ruby, Mera's faithful wolf companion, has also grown in strength and presence. The bond between Mera and Ruby is deeper than ever, a connection that provides both comfort and empowerment. Ruby's increased strength is a reflection of their united resilience and the challenges they have faced and overcome together. Meanwhile, Leo, as the new alpha, has risen to the expectations of his role with a sense of duty and commitment. His leadership is marked by wisdom and a deep understanding of the needs of his pack. Under his guidance, the pack thrives, benefiting from his vision and fair judgment. The relationships within Mera's close circle, Thea, Leonard, Owen, Taylor, and Susan Tweeney, have also evolved. They have grown closer, forming a tight-knit group that supports each other through various challenges and celebrates each other's successes. Susan, in particular, plays a significant role in Mera's life, offering support and companionship. Laura, ever the nurturing figure in Mera's life, played a crucial role in helping Mera convey the news of her pregnancy to the Wilva family. Her guidance and wisdom eased Mera's apprehensions about sharing the news, particularly considering the complexities surrounding the child's conception and the absence of Lucian in their lives. Contrary to Mera's initial fears, the Yilva family's response to her pregnancy was not one of outrage, but of support and love. They rallied around her, providing her with the confidence and reassurance she needed. Their acceptance and encouragement were pivotal in empowering Mera to embrace motherhood with a sense of optimism and strength. The birth of Mera's child brought a new dimension to her life and to the dynamics within her family. Her journey as a single mother, managing her responsibilities at the hotel while nurturing her child, has been an inspiring tale of love, perseverance, and self-reliance. The The Werewolf family, witnessing her dedication and love for her child, are filled with pride and admiration for the way she has handled the challenges that life has thrown her way. In this new chapter of her life, Mara has found a balance between her personal aspirations, her responsibilities as a mother, and her role within the pack. Her story is a testament to the power of resilience, the importance of a supportive community, and the enduring strength of familial bonds.